of crime.
Happy Friday, everybody. Shadows on top of that. Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm your host, Jay, with Guilty of Crime, and we're back, guys. Happy Friday. We made it. Now, guys, although this is not, this is not like something that you want to celebrate on a Friday, this case is going to play out in front of all of us as it is. Ohio House of Horrors, mom of 16. Is she an abuser, a victim, or both? Guys, who should be charged for these crimes? If not her, then what? Guys, we're going to spend a lot of time on that today. We're going to go over what the hell happened and then each individual update, right? Because we want to know what happened to grandpa. If it's not clear, we want to know why mom's trying to get out. Is she pregnant? Is she not? Etc., etc. And if she is, why is the lawyer saying what he's saying? Anyhow, Cool and Chris, thank you so much for kicking us off with the $5 super chat. Happy to see Jay mods in chat. I'm glad you're continuing to cover this case. Well, thank you so much for getting us started tonight. We've got a goal up. If you guys want to help with that, we'll get to the end and I'll give away another book. All right, that helps support the channel. Then don't forget, Mondays, guys. Mondays is going to be members only Monday. Now, this particular Monday coming up, it's a show for everybody, but only members can chat. Okay, so we won't get all clogged up. So if you're in the green, you can chat. If you're not, you won't. And I'll explain that on Monday. All right, we are going to get back to covering, I've got to cover the Javea Harris case. I've got documents, court documents, etc. on the parents. And that's what I want to go over, not focus solely on Javea Harris's body and how it was found. I want to focus on the punishment for those parents. All right. So we're going to go over that on Monday. So mark your calendars for Monday and come to Guilty of Crime, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. Thank you, Cool and Chris. You guys come on in, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. I'll definitely gift a membership or two myself today. All right, Lady for Justice, Cool and Chris. Kathy's back. What's up? She's in the future. It's Saturday morning. All right, and Foxy's back, guys. No more Bolo for her. Cynthia's got some stuff going on. Mama Pearl is out with her friends. Tiff is on vacation, but I do have Cuffew. Thank you for being here, my friend. They are horrific. However, when you start to feel like you're coming to a point where you can make sense of this is when it feels a little bit better. And that's what I feel like we're going to do today. I did hear about the David case, and I do want to report on that next week. Medical examiner leak, but I don't think that's going to compromise the case too much. But yes, I have so many cases that I need to update, and I'm going to do that. All right. So welcome. Happy Friday, guys. Come on in. If you come in during the stream, hit the like button. If you leave, hit the like button. All right, let's go, guys. How's everybody doing? Good to see you, Jay. I was like, where's my Red Bull BFF? Right? We got that today. Here we go. Cheers to the tropical energy drink. All right. Here we go. All right, guys. So you know the drill, but today we're going to get into something that I know you haven't talked about. I haven't talked about. I haven't even had a chance to just get all the thoughts in my head. So the title we're going to focus on is The House of Horrors, but we are going to talk heavily about the mom today after going over the updates, what's grandpa. And guys, I had to do this. All right. Now, another thing too, I want you guys to kind of understand something that's going on here is people are speaking up from all sides, including family members and friends of the children. Now, you guys were here with me on what day did I present this case? On Wednesday. And we had some people come in. Yes, she's pregnant with her 17th. It's actually her 15th pregnancy because she's got twins. All right. But yes, it's true. But listen. People are speaking out. I'm telling you guys, you remember last week a kid came in the chat saying he was friends with the kid? Well, there's a lot more coming out to say that, my friends. There's a lot more. And these people, specifically Elizabeth, is saying, where is being dirty a crime? All right. But I got a bunch of friends coming out saying that the 16 children were not abused. They could read, they could write, they had outreach. But then I ask myself, and I ask you guys, why in the hell, if you weren't doing anything wrong, if there's no incest going on, no kind of CSAM, then why are you hiding? Okay, so it might not be a crime to be dirty, but why hide your children? Why were two of them clinging to life, only 24 hours away from death? That's a crime. When your babies are in a house that has who knows what feces they're breathing in and maggots and bugs and stuff just everywhere, that is a crime. Okay, so but we are going to talk about when it may have crossed over, because we are going to also talk about the judge that approved the marriage between Gary and Elizabeth. All right. So guys, there's a lot going on today. I'm not sticking to the particular thing. We are definitely going into the house today. All right. We're going to go into the house. I've got some like the out finally, we wanted to do a layout thanks to Synth. She sent that over. New York Post. I have that, but I wasn't sure if that was the, I don't know if Lucky, if you want to drop a link to more pictures inside the house, I think I have them all, but if someone wants to email me that, please do. I've got a lot of content for today, my friends. And the content that I have is going to show you all sides of it. Okay. And we're going to properly sit there and say, what should happen to Elizabeth? She is being charged for this, not being charged for this. Where should she go next? And what should the punishment be? And who is ultimately most responsible for this? So that's what we're covering today. We're not going to just cover the same old thing everybody else is covering, because I want to get into the psychology of where she went from, being a victim to an abuser, trauma bonding, and all that kind of stuff. All right, guys, she's pregnant again. Yes. And guys, I got to tell you something. You got to hear me when I say this. When she tells her lawyer, she's telling her lawyer, I am not a victim. All right. If anyone comes in here and talks shit to me, mods, just boot them out. I'm not going to play around with anybody today. All right. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. She told her lawyer she's not a victim. He says she's not a victim. He says Elizabeth told him that she always wanted a big family and that all children were born in the hospital. We do have a news team that found 15 birth certificates. Okay, so we're gonna do a lot of the holes. We're gonna fill a lot of the whys and whats. All right, and she definitely needs to be an eval. She's going to need therapy. She's going to need a lot of things, and I don't think that they should just throw her into a jail for 25 years without that. But no bullshit Friday. Kick me out. Yeah. I'm not going to play with the trolls today. If they don't like what I'm saying, then just kick them out. Not me. I really did a lot today to put this episode together. And I'm giving it my best shot to give all sides of this and see the psychology behind a person that can put her children in a predicament like this. Okay. So yeah, they did. They all got the hospitals, all that. Foxy, thank you so much for the 420 Guilty of Crime membership. If you received that membership, please thank Foxy in memory of Christopher gone way too soon. All right. Way too soon. Yeah, they do. They do. But they like it because sometimes I'll play with them, but I'm not playing with them today. And I'm not playing with the same trolls that already went real life on me. If y'all went real life on me, don't bother to come back. Like, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. I don't even want to talk to you if you went real life. Bye. Turtle Gang, good to see you. Monday. We've got Turtle Island, folks. Every Monday, what I'm going to do is take you guys and drop you off to Turtle Island at the end of our episode so that you can go vote for Guilty of Crime. All right? So, guys, there's a lot today. Thanks for coming in. Carly, good to see you. We no longer have a bolo for Carly, but what I did want to show you, and I thought was really funny, some people are saying that Grandpa should be charged the most because when he was not in a medical, he didn't need to be in a hospital, he didn't have dementia, that he orchestrated a lot of these things. And I had to put that up there, especially for Tiff, because Tiff was like, she didn't know who the Saw family or All in the Family was. All right. She didn't know who that was. And I said, there it is. There's Grandpa, and there's Grandpa from the Saw is Family Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's exactly what my mom said. Listen, Debbie, it's a crime to let your kids lay in the mess, lay in the flies. And we all know what happens with flies. That's a crime. Exactly. My mom said the same thing. But what I'm trying to do is bring a different perspective so that if you feel that way, we can see both sides and, be fair. I'm trying to be fair. All right. What's up, Indy Isham? Deb in the house. Wow, lightning knocked out the computer. Well, I'm glad you're back. Tony, Maggie, Kim. That he is creepy AF. And I got to tell you, if these people are not doing anything nefarious, then they shouldn't have anything to worry about, except for the 2 charges where the children were almost dead. We don't know how they're going to recover. Those charges can be upgraded. That's what I'm saying. This story is a crime because the children didn't attend school. And of course, but I'm so glad that we have you guys here talking about it, because real life Indy-ish, if you were here during the Madeline Soto stuff, if you went real life on me, meaning that you doxed me and you pulled pictures up of baby Guilty and shared them and created a Reddit thread about me and put my mom up there and my nephew, that's real life. If you went real life on me, go away. Don't come back. I don't have anything good for you. All right. So, we're going to get through this. And like I said, I am absolutely not saying the mom is not a victim. Look at my title, Ohio House of Horrors, mom of 16. Is she a victim, an abuser, or both? Who should be charged for these crimes, if not her? Right. All right. Yeah, exactly. They came in, Indy. They came in when I streamed the last episode, and they were trying to school me on what I was talking about. And they gave me a run for my money before. So no thanks. Bye, Felicia. Kathy, Jay, and Mods. For the trolls, they come for true crime, the clues, and the plot, but type out the spoiler that no one sought. The butler's guilty, the victims are alive. They ruin the tension. Kathy, you're in good spirits today. Holly, good to see you, my friend. My pastor called me. And I hope you guys get that. That is the guy from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's Grandpa from Saw is Family. And that is Grandpa in this case. So I'm looking at Grandpa. I'm looking at him like, hey, very, very similar. I can't get down with the Grandpa. All right. Just saying, Grampenstein has got to pay his dues. I think he set up the foundation for this wild, crazy life. Started back. That's what I'm saying. Generational mindset, and not even realizing that how you're living is detrimental. All right. So I just had to do that with you guys. You guys know me. I'm a huge horror fan, right? I love horror. So everything is like a reference to horror, right? Definitely. Love you guys. Come on in. I'm so glad there's only like less than 200 people in chat. And I'm grateful because, well, I just like talking to you guys. All right, check this out, guys. This is how it all started, okay? So we're going to go over the updates and the people and then talk about trauma bonding and all that. Good to see you, Jill. How you doing? So many good people in chat today, Trotter Daughter. Okay, so look, these are the charges. These are the public indecency charges that brought law enforcement to the house with a warrant and then a second warrant. All right. A lot of people are talking about it and saying, well, we're not sure, but yeah, they've got it. There's a lot of things that they have answered for, but you just got to find them. All right. So let me keep that up for a second and tell you again. Ohio House of Horrors. We're going to do an update. Mom of 16, issue a victim, an abuser, or both. Depending on your answer, then who should be charged for the crime? Okay. And then what should they get? All right. We're telling a different story today. We're going to go from Elizabeth Siders' side, from her attorney and her side of what we heard. Now, her attorney, Tommy Stoley, has big issues, guys, with the prosecutors and how they've painted this case. He says there's no evidence that the children were confined to a 12 by 12 room and not allowed outside. He also takes issue with people calling it pure evil, which, again, I'm just laying down the sides. He says Elizabeth told him that she always wanted a big family and all of the children were born in a hospital. All right. He also independently confirmed through sources, guys, that children were born in Gallipolis, Ohio, and actually had doctors overlooking their care. According to Stoley, multiple kids had phones and even social media pages. Now, he does take issues with officials talking about feral children, third world countries, because it paints a picture that the children had zero contact with the outside world. And officials said the children could barely communicate and some can't speak at all, which they say is totally false. So, of course, the defense attorney is going to ask for Elizabeth to be released. She's sitting in jail and she's pregnant and they want to lower bond. But guys, we're going to go into the house, go into the timeline, and go into why this shouldn't just be blown off and what should happen in this case. And of course, we're going to go inside of the house as well. So let's quickly go into court today. Gary Siders had court. That's what brought this all about. All right. Buckle up, buckle in, get your notepads, take notes, clip it, whatever you got to do, because we're getting a lot out there today. Let's go.
Tonight in the heart-tugging case of 16 children described as feral living in the same home. Their discovery led to the arrests of Gary Siders Sr., Christina Siders, Gary Siders Jr., and Elizabeth Siders. 13 News reporter Sarah Davis is still digging into this story. She joins us now to explain how previous charges of one of the defendants is playing into this.
Well, Jackson, it was here that 36-year-old Gary Siders Jr. allegedly exposed himself 4 separate times in the month of May to people living outside of his house, the same site where 16 children were found in deplorable conditions. According to Vinton County court documents, Siders Jr. is accused of engaging in public indecency on May 23rd, May 27th, May 29th, and May 31st in 2026. Documents allege all 4 incidents happened outside of his home on Omer Street in Hamden. The last incident happening just less than a month before police encountered 16 children living inside, which led to the arrest of Siders Jr. and 3 others for child endangering. Investigating agencies had previously stated the arrest.
And again, I have strong opinions about this case. So even though I'm laying down both sides and I do not agree with the defense at all, right? It's their job to defend. So that's what they're going to do. And we're going to put this out there so people can come and say, hey, I want to talk about this. I knew that family and we're getting that. I'm going to go behind the scenes and show you some of that stuff. Now, I don't think anyone is saying, I don't know who's saying the entire town of Hamden and Benton needs to be punished. That's ridiculous. I really don't know who said that. Today, I'm being very fair in my opinion with the 4. And again, this is my channel, my opinion. All right. I'll lay down the facts and then let you know what I think. I don't think the whole town should be punished. I don't even know where that came from. But the town is rallying. If you're in that county or you're in that area, they are rallying $1 million to funds to get together to help the 16 children to develop properly and get the care that they deserve. So if you're mad about that, be mad about that. Maybe you can go check it out and you can help. All right, let's go. Let's take a look inside this house as well and everything that's gone into
arrived at the home on an unrelated warrant.
There was an investigation, there was a parallel investigation going on for something else that led law enforcement to that house on the search warrant. And they went into the house on the search warrant and discovered this.
And while it has not been confirmed that these charges brought the search warrant, records show a warrant for the public indecency charges was issued on June 30th, the same day officers found the horrific scene inside the house on Omer Street. Now, Siders Jr. does have a hearing related to the 4 public indecency charges coming up soon. That is scheduled for July 23rd at 10:15 a.m. Reporting in Vinton County, Sarah Davis, 13 News.
There's new information tonight in the
All right, so that's what brought them there. We're going to run through some updates. BioX Shock, new to this channel, loving the vibe. Welcome, BioX Shock. Please welcome BioX if you guys can. Give them a warm welcome. Hey, Cal, good to see you. Sadie's mom, a big hug. How can we stay at home, not teach our children how to speak? Right. And that's what we're going to talk about, because you got to hear both sides. And then we have to discuss. She's probably going to get her children back at some point, whether you like it or I like it or not. That's just how it goes, my friends. And even if they don't, she's going to be out and she's going to have access to those children. She's pregnant with another. All right. So locking her up for 25 years and then letting her out when she's 40 might not be such a good idea. It might be better to give her the intensive therapy that she needs. But we don't know. We don't know if she wants that. She's saying she's not a victim and she doesn't see a problem with anything. She just thinks it as a big old family. All right. The SAW is family. All right. Let me read this article to you real quick so I can get all the details. Yeah, he's paying taxes out. People be mad. They literally have a fund that they're going to put $1 million towards these children. All right. And I don't care. I mean, the money is whatever. Children are the most important because those people are our future. Those kids that we're beating and killing and doing these things to, that's our future. Those are the children that are going to take care of you. So I don't understand why nowadays that, the abuse, I can't understand that at all. I know. What's up, Giddy Up? Giddy Up, go, Kimmy. I changed my name from Hyper to name more aligned with my lifelong ownership, training, rearing, and riding equines. Just call me Kimmy. All right, thank you, Turtle Gang. We're going to get into that because she was 13 when they got together and she was already pregnant right at that time, either before or right after. All right, so we're gonna get into all this and give you everything I can today. Good to see everyone. Killing time. All right, so check this out. Exclusive Elizabeth Siders, 33, pleads for bond reduction after police discovered 16 feral children in Ohio's House of Horrors, as rumors swirl around about conjoined twins, and I'll add another pregnancy on top of that. All right, so today is July 10th, Friday of 2026. This was updated yesterday on the 9th. Now, Ohio mother Elizabeth Siders has asked a judge to reduce her bond after she and the 3 relatives were charged in connection with the alleged abuse and neglect of the 16 children found living what authorities described as deplorable conditions. All right. Now, listen, according to the court documents, which are really what matters, our opinion doesn't matter. It's what the documents say. They exclusively obtained those for a 33-year-old mother that filed a motion to modify bond, asking the court to reconsider the conditions of her $300,000 cash or surety bond as a high-profile Vinton County case moves forward. Okay, I don't think that's going to happen. They want cash. These people don't have money at all. They don't even have money for a defense. Now, as previously reported in June of 2026, authorities rescued 16 neglected children ranging from 18 months to 18 years old, exposing what investigators described as horrifying. The 4 adults were arrested in connection with the alleged child endangerment, but Elizabeth was one of the adults detained, and at this time, she is believed to be the mother of all 16 children and one on the way. Now, during the press briefing, Vinton County prosecutor Bill Archer said investigators do not yet have all the children's birth certificates, but then declined to elaborate further when asked whether every child had been registered to the state. Now, one of the news stations said that they saw them. Okay. He says, I don't know what we have. I don't know we have all their birth certificates, he said, before adding additional questions about the children's documentation were beyond what he could discuss publicly as investigation remains ongoing. You have to remember that house is now a crime scene. Okay. If there wasn't something going on, then why were they hidden? Why did the neighbors say, I've never seen them there and all the time? I didn't know there was children. But then I've got here their friends saying, yeah, I'm on the computer with them and we text each other. All right. So we're going to play all sides. Okay. We're going to present. You guys decide, and you guys can, be as fair or not fair. That's up to you how you guys want. September Angel. Hello. I don't know. And she still continues to have them, saying that she doesn't have money, but she wants to have more and a bigger family. Doesn't make sense. She almost lost 2 of her children. They were within 24 hours until death, guys. They airlifted these children to ICU. Now, the problem with social media, he says, is you don't have to be telling the truth. It's not truthful. It's not accurate, is what they're saying about the confined cages and, the horrific things going on. You guys make a choice for yourselves. They're contesting this and saying, no, we didn't confine them. We didn't put duct tape on their mouths. We didn't make them stay. Now, Elizabeth, the mom, alleged mom for all of them, Elizabeth's recent filing comes as fresh questions continue to emerge surrounding the family, including the recent reports claiming that she previously gave birth to conjoined twin daughters who died shortly after. Multiple outlets have reported the twin deaths were documented. Authorities have not publicly released those records, and prosecutors have offered only a limited amount of details. Now, look at this, guys. I mean, I'd be scared of this guy. If this guy was the dude that signed off on the paperwork to get me married, and I had to live with him in all these years, he was the person from 13 to 15 to 18. Oof. Who knows? Who knows if he's a pedo? Who knows what he is? I don't know what his record is. I don't know how harmful he is, or if he's just using that as a defense. All right. So again, we went through her. We haven't heard much about grandma yet. So we're kind of getting down there, right, trying to figure out what her role is, if any. Right? Is she abused? All right. Now, Archer urged the public not to rely on unverified claims, which we all say that. Okay. The prosecutor added, while he could not discuss every aspect, all the children are now safe and receiving appropriate care. Authorities allege that minors have been living in unsanitary conditions and suffering from significant neglect before they were removed from the home. All right. So grand jury decision, that looms ahead, guys, because they waived their preliminary hearing. All 4 of them are going straight to the grand jury to make a decision about where this case heads. Okay. So if you didn't know, now you do. Now here's grandma. The investigation remains active. He explained that Vinton County does not convene grand juries as frequently as larger jurisdictions, so contributing to the current procedural timeline. So it might take longer is what they're saying, because they got to get a grand jury to convene. As previously reported, Elizabeth's brother has also publicly claimed she was indoctrinated into living in squalid conditions at the property. All right. Though the claims have not been substantiated by investigators, mom behind Faro, Ohio home had conjoined twins. All right. So there's a lot of documentation here on everything that's going down, but I think we're pretty caught up. But we're going to talk about her. We're going to talk about her defense, saying she is not evil. There was no malice in this. She loves her children and wants them back. All right. I don't know how ridiculous that is or how it sounds, but this was her at 15, my friends. This is her now. Where was she in between? And why didn't she seek medical attention for the 2 children that were in dire need? Now, mind you, guys, those 2 children, had those 2 children died, she would be facing murder charges. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about. Indoctrinated evidence by mom saying children's are gifts from God. And she's pregnant again. She's been pregnant her whole damn life. All right. Let's continue. I just wanted you to see her before and her after to kind of understand a little bit about what these people are now, who they are, what they're doing, etc., etc. This one's the one that gets me the most, is grandpa. He freaks me the heck out. All right, let's get into the updates so that we can start talking about trauma bonding and what's going to happen next. The lady on the left, that's her, Baha. That is Elizabeth Siders on the left and Elizabeth Siders on the right. That's her before and her after picture. Okay, that is her. So I ask you, is she an abuser? Is she a victim? Or is she both? And when did that happen? When did that cross over? Exactly. She was just laying in the house with filth. All right, laying in the house with filth while her children were dying. So that's why I'm like, don't come at me and tell me she's innocent and she's such a victim, because that's not true. All right. Yeah, it looks like she can afford black hair dye. Oh my goodness. The crypt keeper is more handsome, right? This guy, man, this is really the grandpa all the way on the right. The one in the middle is from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's crazy, right? All right. Healthy on the left. I know. That's why I'm asking these tough questions, because I don't want to give it an unfair look. I don't want to be unfair about it and just say, yeah, lock her up. She's a nasty, vile bitch, right? I don't want to do that. So let's get to it.
Is she the mother of all 16 children?
That is my understanding, yes.
All right, this is her lawyer, so he's answering some of the questions that we couldn't. She did tell him that she is the mother of all 16. When that DNA test comes back, my friends, that's going to matter. If she lied about it, or if they find something nefarious, they find incest or whatever, there's going to be charges that are up, and she's going to be in hot water, right?
That was my question to Tommy Stolley. He's the attorney representing Elizabeth Siders. He says he met with prosecutors today to discuss lowering her bond. Right now, she's one of 4 facing 16 counts of child endangerment, but he says there's a chance she's a victim in this case.
At this point in time, we are still not sure, at least at my office, whether my client is a victim herself or not. I have previously stated that she does not necessarily characterize herself as a victim, but the investigation from the prosecutor's office, the investigation from my office is still ongoing.
We also got to speak with Dorian Baum, who's representing Gary Siders Sr. He says he has concerns about the 73-year-old.
All right, so this is the grandpa that was let out because he would have bankrupted the county. Okay, so that's that gentleman. I don't know if we're going to call him that, but grandpa was released, and that's what I'm getting to now. We're literally going from son to wife to grandpa. All right. Was she even aware that the kids were that bad off? They must have been used to being sick all the time. Well, we're gonna find out, right? Oh my God, Mish. Oh my God, how do you have 16 children pregnant again? Oh my God. You know what? I think the comment of the day is going to be, where did it go? Where'd it go? I want that. This is it right here. Here's the comment of the day. Tell Elizabeth, the mom, that birth control is also gifts from God here too. All right. God gifts birth control so that you don't have 20 children and not know where they all are and know that some are dying. All right. All right. This is grandpa. Now, grandpa's looking this way and this way. So I'm not sure if he's looking this way or that way and that way, but we'll see.
Health and ability to stand trial. He says he cannot afford to pay any bond. He's trying to get his $300,000 bond lowered to a recognizance bond, or basically a promise to return to court without having to pay.
In nearly any case where your defendant or your client is being held in jail, you want it reduced. At this point, I've already made quite clear that I have concerns about Mr. Siders' competence, whether he is suffering from mental health issues, from diminished capacity, etc. So to be perfectly blunt, if a person like that is sitting in jail, that is a bit of an affront to me.
Yeah, Elizabeth's attorney is also seeking to lower her bond as well. The attorneys tell me that this could get worked out through either paperwork or through a hearing here in Vinton County. As for what happens next, the attorneys are still waiting to get the evidence to review what the prosecutors have about this case. They're also waiting for a possible grand jury indictment, but there's no timeline for when that could happen.
Thank you guys for being here, by the way. Hit the like button. Come back. If you're new here or you're just strolling by, I'm telling you, I'm getting the most up-to-date information and a much different perspective than many people. So, Kathy, thank you for the Guilty of Crime gifted membership. Guys, if you receive that membership, please thank Kathy. I think I thanked Turtle Gang for the $5 super sticker. If I didn't, thank you again. Right? Well, oh.
Reporting live in Vinton County.
All right, so we're gonna look inside of the house now. That way you guys can decide how you feel about the living conditions. Again, there's a heavy focus today outside of the update that I just gave you. Heavy focus on Elizabeth Siders, the mom that's pregnant and is allegedly the mother of all 16 children, with 2 that were deceased and conjoined twins. Okay. So I really want to give you the updates and get you inside of the house. It's a crime scene. Let's get to that. And then we're going to move back to this and hear some more ridiculousness. But I'm trying to be fair today. I'm trying to play fair. Okay. I'm going to play fair. I'm going to play nice. Not because you told me to, but because that's what I want to do. All right.
Horrific child abuse investigation in Vinton County. 16 children ages 1 to 18 were removed from a home in Hamden. The 4 adults living in that home were arrested, and they are now facing felony child endangerment charges. NBC4's Isabel Cleary is digging into property records and shows us what we are learning about where the 4 suspects and 16 children lived for the last 4 years.
This is the house where law enforcement served a warrant on a different case and found 16 children in a 12 by 12 foot room in what investigators are describing as third world conditions. Now, of course, we can't get much closer to this house, but through property records, we are learning a lot more.
The children were kept in a roughly...
Now, remember, I told you about this in the last episode. This house was 1,338 square feet. To that effect, and the basement was 500 square feet. I'm going to give you the layout of the house, and then we're going to do the pictures of the house so you can see the child endangerment and it not being enough, Kung Fu Panda. I agree, but listen, Elizabeth and her attorney are saying it is not a crime to have 20 children. It is not a crime to be messy. Then when does it cross over to being a crime? Monique, member for 11 months. Happy Friday. I know. They don't know any better is the problem. Yeah, and Stinky, right? What's up? Your perfect timing. Let's get inside that house.
12 by 12 area, it seems like, is where they've spent the most of the last 4 years.
Now, guys, that house was built in 1900, okay? 500 square feet roughly on the bottom and 1,300 square feet on the top, locked in a 12 by 12. So when you see inside the house, finally, you'll know what I mean. All right. And look at this. I mean, guys, this is a crime scene now. But guys, I got to tell you, this would be a perfect house. Perfect house. If you're going to have a bunch of damn kids, you can have bunk beds lined up in 3 of the rooms. And this would be a perfect place for your children to be outside, playing with the water hose, doing slip and slides, summer things, eating ice cream, making projects, doing art. That's why it's not acceptable to me. Okay. I am not a stay-at-home mom. I've worked my entire damn life between work and school and working multiple jobs. 333, by the way. Say a prayer that the children get the justice they deserve. All right. So, I do all these things and I still make sure that my kids go out and they do stuff and they eat properly and I take care of them. She's a stay-at-home mom. What was she doing while she was at home? I can't. Yeah, mental issues. And that's why I ask you guys that, because it's hard to see. Bye, Kim. We'll see you later. Hang out. All right, so let's get to inside the house. I cannot understand, and that's why it's hard for me to put myself in that predicament, because I would never do that. If I were stuck in those circumstances in that house, I would put bunk beds, I would make it nice, I would put some tents outside and make it a good time. If you don't have money, you don't need money to have fun and love each other, but you gotta treat your children, well, you gotta treat them really good. That's what I say. Third world countries aren't necessarily like that. I agree. I think the prosecutor was just really pissed, QTC, just like me. All right, where's the line? What, are they almost dead? No school, not enough food, filthy? Exactly. Let's continue. What were they doing? Having sex all day and she was jerking off her man so he could go on the porch and show his yuck? All right.
And that's what it looks like.
We obtained these property records from the Vinton County auditor. Investigators' description of the room where the children were kept aligns with this back room.
All right, let me turn this off so we can see the whole thing. We finally get to see what this damn house looks like. And we have more pictures on the inside, what they call a crime scene. Guys, it's going to be a rough one too. They're going to spend a lot of money on this.
Here, or a potential basement room. NBC4 has confirmed.
Hold on. Why did it do it such a light transition? Hold on. Let me play it. I'll pause.
NBC4 has confirmed the house is owned by a trustee of a woman who died last year. The house was up to date.
Hold on.
It was owned by basement room.
There it is. Okay, hold on.
Description of the room where the children were kept aligns with this back room here, or a potential basement.
Okay, so I don't know why they did it that light. I'm going to open this up just a bit. Yeah, she was making babies all damn day. Yes, drop a link, my mods. You guys want to get a Guilty of Crime book? 2 things you can do. 1, you can go on Amazon, and 2, let's get to the goal so I can give out a book today. All right, so let's look at this real quick. Take a look at it. You can see, I know it's light. And I probably could have just made one, but take a look at the front of the house, all right, and take a look at the layout, and you can see the one small front room. A, they've got, where's the A is up there by, you see a little truck or red bicycle out, and then we've got E. So what they're saying, guys, is that they were in a 12 by 12 area, which would be what? Would that be the E section? Does anyone know? Wonder if there's math involved. That's another thing. Why were they hiding if there was nothing going on? Okay. Thank you, mathematicians. Okay, so look at that. Look at the house and look at the layout. I'm thinking that E is the only 12 by 12 section that would be consistent with an area that you can lock in, right? You've got the back wall completely walled in, and you can lock that. Now, I don't know if that's above or below, but I can see 180 square feet, 120, 243. So I'm imagining that the biggest square footage was not where they were. Okay, we're going to go inside the house. It looks like E. It does. Now, we're going to go to the actual house as well. I'm going to bring you out there and all that fun stuff, all right? And by the way, when I cover Javea next week, we're going to heavily focus on the punishment for the parents, and we've got footage of the house and the chicken coops and all that. So, guys, thank you. Yeah, E looks like it to me. Let's continue.
Room. NBC4 has confirmed the house is owned by a trustee of a woman who died last year. The house was up to date on its property tax payments, with the most recent payment, $960.88, being paid in February of this year. The record does not show who paid it. The home was built in 1900 and does not list any remodels. The home had running water. NBC4 has confirmed with the Hamden Village Water Department that water was turned on to the home, and the bill is listed in Christina Siders' name. Sewer and trash service were also active.
But do you see how each person plays a role in this? I ask, who should be charged for these crimes? Should they all be charged across the board? Because if she's paying for water and gas, but she's not using water and gas or not letting the children use it, is it because she doesn't want to? Or they didn't have access because it's all clogged up and there's feces everywhere? What are you missing? Mrs. Redhead, ask your questions, my friend. I don't think you're missing anything.
Christina Siders is the 66-year-old suspect, one of 4 charged with child endangerment. I spoke with the Vinton County School District. They do not have any record that any of the children involved in this case have been or were enrolled in the district at any time. Again, this family has lived in this house for 4 years. We will keep you updated on air and online with every piece of information that we can confirm as a fact. Local for you in Vinton County, I'm Isabel Cleary, NBC4.
Now, Ohio's Attorney General and the Vinton County Sheriff says the investigation into how the 16 children were allegedly abused could take some time. Investigators say the children are reportedly limited in their ability to communicate, at one point describing them as, quote, feral. It is unknown whether any of the children have any educational background or how they went virtually undetected in the home for 4 years. Of course, we will continue to follow development.
And for some reason, I thought it was 2 years. So 4 kind of even makes it worse, right? All right, let me look. Let's take a look real quick at the inside pictures. All right. And again, they put this up on Crime Time lines. Guys, you should definitely make sure you have this website. Now, I'm not going to go through all of it with you, but you can go. I'll drop the link. You guys should go sub up to that. Yes, incest. That's what they're testing for. The reason they're doing DNA testing is to make sure that there's no incest going on, to make sure there's no kidnapping going on, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So that's the thing. All right, so let's take a look. So that's what we don't know yet. Nothing's come back, and the charges are right now of child endangerment. And I'll get to the document because there's a complaint, and I want to share the Elizabeth Siders complaint specifically with you on what she's being charged for, and that she says is not fair. All right, so let's over here. They've got everything, the timeline. If you don't understand or don't know it, March 31st of 2008 was when Elizabeth married Gary. She was only 15, guys. And again, I have the judge that did that. I have a clip of the judge that freaking married her at 15. All right. So when did this cross over from her being an abuser or a victim to an abuser? All right. Let me, okay. So this goes all the way back to 2008 when Gary and Elizabeth were married. All right. The oldest child was identified in a criminal complaint, and then they continued. I'm not going to get into all this right now, but every 2009, 2011, born. Look at, and we've gone over this. I've given you a chart and all that. Most of it is the children being born and then what happened, which we're up to speed on. All right, let's take a look at some of these pictures that they call the crime scene. All right, so this is the crime scene. Can I not get in these pictures? Oh no. Maybe I can, but let me see. Case files. Oh, are they not letting me click on it? Huh. All right. Well, this is what we can see right now until I get the other picture. So take a look at the bedroom. Let me pull myself off real quick. Okay. Look at the bottom left corner, guys. That is one of the bedrooms. That is one of the rooms. It's got like computer cords, feces. That's an actual bedroom. That's in the residence of the bedroom, and one of the bedrooms in the residence to the left. And then when you look to the right, you've got the bathroom. The bathroom is literally not working. It looks like they're shitting inside the tub, inside the toilet, inside the top of the tank of the toilet. I mean, come on. A lot of these files were denied access unless you, okay. But I do have some of the pictures, and I'd have to download them, which I can't do right this second. But look at that. I mean, even look, guys, look at the residence when you walk in. There's the door frame. I'm not on here anymore. Look, let's go from bottom left to right real quick. Look at that, guys. There's one of the rooms that's got a light in it with feces and cords and bugs and dirt and filth and right. And look, 4 years of this, 4 years. And you look right in the front door, and that's all piled up on. And then you go to their back porch, and what is that? Like, what are they doing there? Look at the window. We go up to the top left, from left to right. It looks okay from the outside if you're looking at the street, but then when you get to the very right one, the two left, the two right on the top, there's stuff coming out of the windows, guys. The 18th is not normal or not. That's what I'm saying. This is not something that you can overlook. All right. So I'm not sure. I can't wait till Elizabeth actually maybe can speak for herself. I don't know, but we got some of the complaints and the documents. You guys should definitely go check this out. There's the motion for bill of particulars for Gary Sider to get him out. There's the discoveries, notice of hearing, the warrant, all that's here. All right. Modify bond. It's all up to date as well. So if you guys want to check any of those out, you can. That's not what we're focused on today. What I am going to show you, though, is in the house inside and the children that are saying that they were friends with these children. Right. So I just kind of want to take a look around the neighborhood, see why nobody really saw anything. Many people said they had an idea. All right. I got you. Thank you. I appreciate that, FloJo. Oh, that's good. I love going on X. Okay. Perfect. We're going to drop over there in a second. Thank you. All right, so let me take a look at this real quick. This is Street View, Hamden, Ohio. All right, they say there's less than 1,000 people, and I just kind of want you to look at the house. From the front, it looks like it could be really small, but when you start to look around the side and you realize, well, there's 1,800 square feet And no, I wouldn't be happy with 1,800 square feet if I had 16 children and 4 adults. But I mean, you could make do. There's a basement. They don't have to have it like this, right? I mean, this is just junk. I don't know if Google Earth decided not to show all the junk that day, because look at how nice it looks. There's a bike outside and a bench. Maybe this is before they moved in. But really, this is a good place if you have children, to let them outside and play and to be free. There's neighbors across the street. It's not an isolated place at all, guys. You can see a little town here and people and more houses. This is not, look right across the street. There's a whole neighborhood. All right. So, I mean, I think this gives me a better perspective, and I hope it does with you guys as well. Just kind of looking around at what this place looks like. I mean, it all is pretty old and small town, not a lot going on. So I can see why people didn't really see anything or say anything, maybe because now everybody's talking, and I don't know why all of a sudden. So let's take a look, and let me get into the pictures, and then I'm going to show you what people are saying. Is this yours? No, I put the wrong one up. Hold on a second. I have 20 windows open. All right, let's take a look. Thank you, Flojo. You guys go sub up to Flojo on YouTube and also on X. It's my favorite place to be, is X during the day. So inside the Ohio house were the 16 children rescued, and thank you to New York Post and Flojo for these pictures. I didn't have time to do that, but what I can show you are these. Take a look at this, guys. Okay, July 24th. Thank you. So that house does not look the same as it does on Google Earth. Like I said, if that were my house and I had 20 people in it, I'd make the best of it, and it certainly wouldn't look like that. All right, Avis, you don't have to have money to have a good life. You certainly don't. I know, that's what I'm saying. That's vile and disgusting, and I don't know how anyone could not see that. They're going to have to demolish that house because it was built in the 1900s, and I can't even imagine that there's insulation anymore and that there's not, black mold in there, etc. So, happy birthday month. I even forgot. Happy birthday month to the Cancers and the Leos, guys. Holly, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Super chat, yeah. All right, and I don't want to forget Perfect Pam. It's been 11 months already. Congratulations. Midnight Lays coming in with the Guilty of Crime membership. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, let's continue. Look at that, guys. I mean, what more? I mean, when we go into hoarders' houses and things, we see these things, but we don't see children living in them, and we don't find a room with a bunch of children piled on top of each other. All right. So I don't know where this would be acceptable, but yeah, you can see the difference in between the house. They didn't really use the stuff. Windows are broken. I mean, they also don't have drug charges either. So it makes me wonder, everyone's saying that they're on drugs. What drugs were they doing? Where are the signs? Have we done drug testing on these parents? I mean, look at this room, guys. If you go to the outside of the house, look at that front window. It's gone. And many other windows on this house are boarded up like that. Now, this has got the brick wall in here. Did you look at where this part is? I can't tell if that's a little garage area or if that's a basement, because it's just so crowded. But look at this, guys. This is right in the house. When you see one of those windows knocked down around the exterior of the house, one of the windows knocked down. Here's the interior. So you got the exterior with windows broken and open, probably trying to air this shit out. What is this? What is that a pile of, guys? What is that? Is that the jizz, the dad's jizz and then the cat box and what is that? Go down it. All right, let's continue. Dale, my daughter's birthday's tomorrow. Where's your birthday, Dale? Where's your daughter? Dale, tell your daughter happy birthday today from Jay and Guilty of Crime. And thank you. Thank you. It's birthday month. All right. Yes. Big happy birthday. The house was open to anything and everything to come through and visit. All right, let's continue. This is a crime scene now. So, I mean, this is probably the best of it, but take a look when they throw the stuff outside. Anything that was in the house seems to have feces, shit, throw up, food. Making me sick. Actually, that's making me sick to even think about that, guys. All right, so I don't know what they were doing in this house. This is probably the clearest picture and probably giving you the clearest picture of what the house looks like inside. All right, look at that. 4 years of just messy muck. All right, he won't let you purchase a what? I'll help you out. Let me know. She really is pregnant again, guys. She really is. All right, so let's take a look. You know what? I'm going to go straight to mine so we can look at the things that I've found. All right, so look at this, guys. We're going to go through my ex because I put a lot of things in there for you to look at, and these are the behind-the-scenes people that are now talking. I don't know what they did, but they moved several times over the years. Look at that. That is from the House of Horrors, guys. And Lily in London, this is from the 16-year-old child of Elizabeth and the all of the people that were arrested, the mom, the dad. She's from that house. That is her Facebook status that says she's in a relationship. And that's outside of her house with the cats. All right. I know, right? On birth control job. She doesn't want that, though. She didn't want that. She just wants to keep having them all day. All right, so let's look at this, guys. So I got to tell you, people are saying that these children weren't locked up. And then others were saying, although they weren't locked up, this is generational and they were raised that way, so they don't know any better, right? So look, this is the 16-year-old that lives in the house, her daughter, and this is her Facebook in a relationship. And you already know I wanna love. That's funny that she's even playing that, but there you go. I mean, look it up here. That's the username and then the cat. I don't know if that's their cats from outside or if she's just sharing a funny video. I really don't know. But what I'm trying to show you is that these children had access to social media. They had platforms like Facebook and Instagram and all of those things. What does that mean? I don't know. I guess what it means is that they weren't locked up, right? Then we look here on Elizabeth's brother. We know he's been making a big stink. He's firing back at online investigators like us, saying that these Facebook investigators and YouTube people, you're in for a ride. I've been telling you, I was the one harassing. I love my sister. However, everyone knew about it. And this is what he's saying. He said it and other people saying it. The lady from the dollar store is even saying it. All right. People that are just from the town, they saw something, but they said something to each other, but they didn't do anything. All right. See something, say something, do something. See something and say something to the correct people. It was just like gossip that was floating around the town. Nobody did anything. All right. Now, what the hell happened in this house? Pure evil is what the brother's saying. All right. Jeremy Russell has got this post here, and this is the post saying, I told everyone, welfare supporters to the max, so the state knows something. I don't get it. Just leave me alone. I'm sure people are attacking the brother. All right. Then we got another message, and this is the authentic. Their messages are authentic. They appeared to be Elizabeth and Gary Jr. Siders' oldest daughter. So we just looked at the cats on there. The cats were from the 16-year-old daughter. Now we're going to the 18-year-old. And guys, this is why, all right, this is why we're doing DNA testing, because we have a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old that can absolutely bear children, and we don't know that they have or have not. What we do know is they have social media accounts and people are talking, right? If the messages are authentic, 18-year-old Chloe carrying on a conversation with someone identified as her Xbox boyfriend. This has people speculating info on Ohio AG, more to come. All right. So those are posts. This is Chloe Siders, guys. This is the daughter of Elizabeth right here, the 18-year-old. And we saw the 16-year-old that's online with her boyfriend. Okay. And then Joey Russell says, I thought my nieces couldn't read or write. These are messages between her and her ex-boyfriend. He says they had a breakup because of her neighbor, Mike. He sent proof of everything. The lies need to stop. The speculation needs to stop. Clearly, the neighbors knew. Clearly, she could read, write, and speak. We just want the damn truth. Praying day and night for my nieces and nephews. Right? So you see some of these text messages here that they got. All right. And this is coming from her. It's like an Instagram Reels, or I don't know if Facebook has a Reels, but I think it's Facebook because I have that one on. Actually, I have it on my Facebook where you can see it better. Let me drop this for a second and bring you on the Facebook one. All right. So look at this. There's another one right here. Debo Das, support my truth. Now, this is coming. My ex-girlfriend has faced difficult circumstances, and the false claims being spread about her are untrue. She can speak. She can walk. I want to make it clear with the evidence that she is strong, and we all need to support her. Please don't spread rumors. I got more voice notes on my iCloud storage. Give me some time to recover all screen recording. So now we've got a message on X that I just showed you that was coming from Joey Russell, which is the uncle, showing you message with the ex-boyfriend and Chloe. So then I pull up Facebook, guys, and this is the ex-boyfriend that the uncle was talking about. You guys got your pencils out, your pens, your diagrams? I know, this is worse than the Turpins. I agree. I mean, I think they're both bad, but the Turpins is pretty bad as well. Beverly, it's been forever. Good to see you. Come on in. Hit that like button. All right. Get yourself a membership. I will be gifting memberships once I stop talking and we can go over the psychology of this. They say there was, but I'm going to get into that because we're going to talk about the 15 birth certificates that there were and the marriage license of Elizabeth at 15 years old. Okay. I just want you to see the side of the people that are saying those children weren't abused. They weren't locked up. All right. So this is the boyfriend. This boyfriend here is showing us screenshots from Elizabeth Siders' daughter. He's literally showing us her. I don't know if that's her phone or her DM. Look at that, guys. They're like, love you and flirting. And this is directly from Chloe. Law enforcement is going to see all this as well. Chloe's going to say, no, I had a boyfriend and I was talking to him. Right? People are talking now. So it's making me wonder what else we're going to dig up. And he's posting it. He's all for it. He's trying to show us that, that they should just be living back where they were. It's okay. Look, he even got a voice clip right here because he's trying to show us that they can walk and talk.
Hello.
You hear that, guys? Yes.
Hello.
All right. That was her talking. He's showing us.
Hello.
So those are the message, and he screen recorded them so you could see that they were communicating and they weren't locked up, right? I love you, baby. You know, that younger love, your puppy dog love. All right. And a lot of people are saying the same thing, although I don't think they know the conditions in the house, but they probably wouldn't be saying that. All right, let me drop this down and pull that back up. I am not done yet with X. Hold on. All right. So I just showed you the boyfriend. This was the uncle posting about the boyfriend. And I went over to the boyfriend's photos. All right. So that he showed more screenshots and everything of, I haven't deleted my chats. That was Instagram. I need to check my old account. Actually, we broke up because of Mike. I don't know if you know him. I don't know who that is. She told me Mike is her neighbor. So I think maybe she had a crush on Mike and Mike knew about it. Then again, guys, here's the Facebook account of the oldest child. It says the child that police say can't spell her own name. There's another account of hers, guys. All right. And she's got the actual name and then some anime stuff going on the account. Again, I'm not arguing about any of this. I'm just reporting what I found. All right. Again, an extended relative of the Siders family also made a public post talking about what's going on. She shared some photos of Elizabeth Siders before she was married to Gary Siders Jr. There she is, guys. We saw that in the last episode. People are speaking out. I know. I think all of them could. I think they were scared. I think they were told not to talk, guys. I think they were told not to talk, and they know better. They knew better. When I fund their GoFundMe, they do it. Yeah, we got to find the correct GoFundMe that's going into the town. Well, there are several children, so we're gonna get it. I don't know about the PS, but K-Mac. It's been a while. We had a crazy one like this. All right, let's look at this. So, this was her before, guys. This was her at 13. It doesn't even look like her, right? So that's her before she was married. And then this is her cousin, I believe. Or let me read this. I'm making this post for the sake of truth and truth only. But for clarity, I'll go ahead and say this is about the situation. Then I'm moving on because I have to. Lots of you know Lynn, a.k.a. Christina Siders. She is my grandma Diana's first cousin. Elizabeth Siders is also my daughter's first cousin due to her, for lack of a better word, sperm donor's side of her DNA. Now, my daughter's donor and Elizabeth's mom are siblings. These are some pictures of Elizabeth that I took right before or around the time that her and Gary Jr. met, when she had her whole life ahead of her. Now, while part of me is wondering if she wasn't mentally conditioned to think that this was okay, the mom in me knows it doesn't matter, because there's absolutely no excuse for dragging your kids or any human through your BS to this degree. In my opinion, she's guilty to an extent simply because she is an adult, and the justice system will handle the situation however it sees fit. I'm cool with that, she says, but I feel like this also needs to be said. Lots of people failed those babies, and they continue to fail lots of others all over to keep the pattern continuing by not intervening when things aren't quite right. Kind of like see something, say something, or even see something and do something. I've never seen this girl, and she's never seen me. So, yes, see something, say something, and do something, guys. All right? And then there's the common pleas, Vinton County. Gary Siders, that's the grandpa. It's the old guy, right? That saw his family. This matter came before the court on July 7th. The defendant was being held, $300,000 cash bond, transported. So this is grandpa. He is out. He has been out and transported on July 8th. Many people were asking about grandpa. He's out. He's getting the medical attention at Oblenis Hospital in Athens, Ohio, which at the time was recommended he be transferred to a larger hospital for more specialized care. All right. So it's interesting. I think everybody was being abused. That's an abuse of an elderly, right? But did he start this? Now, they want cash to bond out, etc., which they're not going to get from this family. All right. So there's Gary Siders. There's Elizabeth Siders. The grandma we don't know too much about. But here's another one. Here's Linda Siders. And here's a little more. Here is the grandma. All right. That's the grandma and the grandpa before all of this. All right. Or in between. Linda is the grandma. Gary Sr. is the grandpa. And Lynn Siders is the daughter. According to Elizabeth family, Linda was the one who would notify Lori Russell, Elizabeth's monster, whenever Elizabeth would have another baby, which was every 2 years, right? In April of 2026, Linda posted a picture showing that. Look at the screen. Lynn and Gary at the property. Guys, this is at the property where the children were found. I questioned who had taken the photo, since it was clearly taken at that house. Now, as you will see in the second photo, Linda was there all day. Why did Linda never call authorities? Or does she claim that she never saw the children either? Guys, look at this. I mean, come on. This is all going to court. This all matters. All right? All of this matters. And there's going to be a lot of witnesses in this. This is so creepy. Right? These are the people. This is grandpa. This is grandma in front of the house. 2026. All right? It's clearly taken at the house. And Elizabeth Siders' attorney, Tommy Stoley, talks to local media. And he's trying to get her out of the inside of the house being pure evil. He does not want that narrative. He also told him that all the children were born in hospitals. Stoley said there's no evidence to suggest that the children were confined to the 12 by 12 room. He said that Elizabeth told him the older children had phones and social media and that they all shared inside jokes. Let's listen for a minute.
The children.
He visited her in jail this afternoon. He said today she shared more information about her children and told him they were all born in hospitals. He says that he takes issue with comments authorities made calling those conditions inside the home pure evil and wanted to dispel some of the rumors. Here's some of our conversation. Is it your understanding that the kids were forced to stay inside?
I don't think we've seen any evidence to prove that. There's been no evidence to suggest that there were any restraints in the home, that the children were locked or forced to remain in the 12 by 12 room. I think this is one of the things that's been really sensationalized on the internet.
Is it your understanding that she wanted to be pregnant this many times and give birth to this many children?
So what she's told me repeatedly is that she and Gary wanted a big family. I don't know if they wanted a family that was this big, but they repeatedly said, she's repeatedly said to me that she wanted a big family. She said that kids are a gift from God.
Has she talked to you about how the kids were treated at all, how they fed them?
Guys, kids are a gift from God. Yes, thank you. I wanted to say that, cat's meow. We saw the pictures. This is not sensationalized, sir. This is absolutely deplorable conditions. Now, you could call it evil or you could call it not, but it's disgusting and it's horrific. And yes, I absolutely hope they'll be drug testing them and even the children. Right. Can't pay. That's the messed up thing, man. That's the messed up thing. That town's got to take care of that now. I know. I know. Hey, Stoley is filtered with dirt at the bottom, all right? Stoley with a little bit of dirt and a little bit of flavor. All right, let's continue. We got a lot today, guys. You guys got your notepads and your notes.
Them or what the dynamic was like inside of the home?
Absolutely. So quite honestly, when I go into the jail, I've been there 3 times. Every time I go there, we end up talking about the kids for a significant portion of our visit. What she tells me is that the kids had phones. Some of them had social media, the older kids. I don't know how.
But do you see how they cleaned this out now? Look at the window and the door. There was things coming out of the window and the door. It could be. Absolutely. When the DNA testing comes back, guys, you couldn't even. I love it. Birth control is a gift from God. So is soap and trash bags and brooms and dusting spray and, even outhouses. They could have got an outhouse instead of just shitting all over the place like a bunch of feral things, right? Exactly. That's what we're getting to. Melissa has been a member for 26 months, 2 years and 2 months. That's a long time. Love my Guilty of Crime family. Love you too, Melissa. How you doing tonight? You are a day one. You and Sadie's mama right there. You and her are day ones. You guys sat there when no one else was sitting there watching this damn show. So thank you.
Active they were on that social media, but she tells me that they had little inside jokes. And I think the big thing with that is it doesn't jive with the way that this case has been characterized in the public. Because when you use language like feral kids, you're imagining people that have been isolated away from human contact. People who have
Well, the conditions don't make any sense. Juanita, welcome. Love you too. I'm glad that you're here. It has been a while. Everybody's coming out of the bushes. Yes, these are my day one people. Love you guys. I was talking to 2 people at one point.
never interacted with any sort of social media, with the internet, with humans outside of their own home, or even humans in general, who are completely lack the ability to use language. There's nothing to suggest that that is the case here.
So the kids can communicate.
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, so the good news about the kids communicating is that they will be able to talk to law enforcement and tell them whatever they want once they get some counseling, right? They're not going to want to talk to anyone. This is a traumatic thing. All right. Again, there's some more things, guys. A pattern of stolen children, the Sider files, or Cedar. This lady says, as I dig deeper into the family, the more narratives shift from coincidence to deeply concerning pattern. While piecing together the timeline, one chapter in particular demands to be heard: the 2002 marriage of Richard Siders and Tessie. All right, the numbers don't lie. In 2002, in the state of Ohio, judge signed off on a marriage between a 48-year-old man and his 14-year-old pregnant bride. This wasn't a relic of the 1800s. This was the turn of the 21st century. A systematic failure. The details of this court approval are infuriating. The judge's stance? When questioned years later, the judge who approved the union claimed he only vaguely remembered this case. Okay, lack of oversight. There's no intervention from the from CPS. No prosecutors were involved. A child's future was decided in a vacuum, with the court failing to provide the most basic safeguards. The legal loophole. Legal experts interviewed on this case have stated flatly, law enforcement should have been alerted. The fact that they weren't speaks volumes about the culture of that time and place. Human cost. Tessie eventually broke her silence. While she expressed that she does not regret her own path, her reflection on the matter is chilling indictment of the system. Yes, some get pregnant before 18, but if the father truly loves her, he'll wait the years to marry her. Oh, this is disgusting, man. Tessie now stands as an advocate for change, firmly believing that the age of 18 should be the absolute non-negotiable floor for marriage. She is a voice for the version of herself that was denied the right to childhood. And why this matters? This isn't just about the one marriage. It's about the family culture where child marriages appear to have been normalized. I'm going to show you that next. All right. With the judge that signed off on this. Richard Siders passed away in September 2025, but his marriage to Tessie lasted over 2 decades. All right. We don't even know. I don't have a picture of Siders right here, but Richard Siders was married way older. That's a person in the Siders family was doing this as well, guys. She's now advocating against this. Now, as they continue the investigation, they're looking at how these institutional loopholes were exploited for years. The public records, the history, who was protecting the children, and how did this become standard procedure in Gallia County? All right. So there it is. There's Tessie. Look at this. This is the pattern of stolen childhoods. This is Richard Siders that passed away. He is part of that family, and he married a 14-year-old at the time. He was 3 decades older than her? Yes. There she is right there, and now she's advocating. She was married to that old man and forced to have babies, and she didn't even know it. I don't even think she realized until the afterthought, okay? So this guy was 48 years old when he married his 14-year-old pregnant bride, and they signed off on it. Now we go to this family, and the same thing happens again. All right, and nobody talked. Nobody said anything. Again, new evidentiary photos we can look at. Let me see if there's anything that other than just the kind of same old stuff. All right. Look at the car, guy. Even the car. Look at that. There's cigarette butts on the floor and like chopstick packets. And I didn't even see those ones yet. Look at that, guys. Like, okay, look, that was a whole, let's say that's a 10x10 area. That's a whole waste of a 10x10 because it's all trash. Look at the car. I mean, the car is probably the cleanest thing, but it's disgusting. All right, let's see if there's any new ones here. No, that's pretty much it. All right, and then that's it. All right, let's get into the a marriage, and then we're going to talk about the psychology today as well. That's going to be a big topic after I get through what the other side is. Okay. They crossed over to West Virginia, and he approved the marriage license for 15-year-old Elizabeth Siders in 2008. Let me pop this up there for a second. This is Elizabeth Siders on the left, and then her on the right. Elizabeth Siders in the middle when she got married at 15, and now her at 33 years later. Okay. And I thought you guys would heavily agree with me, but I want to put something out for both sides so that people aren't saying you're unfair about it. No, I'm giving you both sides. Yep. You got it. All right. Let's get back to that. All right. Judge signed off on that marriage. Sure did.
I can see someone going, how does someone get married at 15? And isn't that a red flag from the beginning?
Yes. Yeah.
Tonight, we're looking back to the very start when Elizabeth Siders got married to Gary Jr. at the age of 15. A circuit court judge in West Virginia granted that marriage license back in 2008. Just 2 months later, the oldest victim in this case was born. Investigator Lisa Rontola digging deeper into the story.
Now 33, Elizabeth Siders faces 16 counts of endangering children after 16 kids were rescued from this Vinton County home. But nearly 20 years ago, she was a 15-year-old bride to her then 18-year-old husband, Gary Siders Jr. in Mason County, West Virginia. His parents, Gary Siders Sr. and Christina Siders, are also listed on the marriage license.
At the time, there was no age that minimum to marry in West Virginia.
Attorney Amanda Alexander practices family law in West Virginia.
Now, listen, guys, we have 420 people in chat. I'm about to gift a membership or two. Stay here, hit that like button, subscribe, guys. We're an hour and 20 minutes in, and we're just at the tip of the iceberg, my friends. Stay here, relax. All right, we're gonna be here for a while. I agree with you, Deborah. Mindy, so good to see you, my friend. So good. There's so many good people in this community. Thank you guys for showing up, per usual. All right, I'm gonna gift some memberships today. That way you guys can have a membership for members only Monday.
She tells me a 15-year-old could marry then with the consent of her parents.
Could the judge have stopped it? The judge absolutely could have stopped this marriage.
But Alexander says the law did not state the court needed to investigate.
I would want to know the relationship between the two. I'd probably want to interview, or at least the point of guardian, I'd like them to interview the bride separately.
Fast forward another 15 years. Lawmakers in West Virginia introduced a new law to increase the minimum marriage age to 18, no exceptions. However, that's not what passed. Senators changed it to age 16 with parent and court consent. And the age gap.
Wow, don't you guys think that they should be responsible for this? If this judge that's going to sign off, hillbillies. If the judge is going to sign off on the, hey, Wendy, shouldn't he take responsibility? I mean, the judge that signed off on their marriage signed off on them having their first child. All right. That child that's been abused and in question of whether they had, whether they've been birthing children within the family or not.
That between spouses should be no more than 4 years. Again, no requirement for a court investigation.
Should you be asking those questions as a court to make sure there's no victimization?
Absolutely.
And since the oldest victim in the Siders case was born after Elizabeth and Gary Jr.'s marriage when Elizabeth was 15, and the next victim was born when Elizabeth was 16, I asked investigators last week if Elizabeth was also a victim.
All right, guys, and we're talking about, that's a huge thing today. It's Ohio House of Horrors, mom of 16. Is she a victim, an abuser, or both? Who should be charged for these crimes? And what should they be charged for? All right, this is the huge topic of today as we're leading up to this. I hope if you guys received a membership, come on out and say hi. I'm going to gift more in a bit. All right, I know, I agree. And I love that someone said, who's voting? Are they the pedos? I know. Zodiac, you're out. Zodiac, it's Leo and Cancer season, baby. What's up? Jeannie, that's funny thing that it is clear to me as well, but it's not clear. It's not clear because nobody knows who did what. That's why they're DNA testing. So I feel the same way you do. I can't say that until, well, the rush is so that they don't get charged as being a pedo and they can keep knocking girls up like this as much as they want without anyone saying anything.
Did Elizabeth Siders birth any or all of these children? And is she a victim herself?
That is all still part of the ongoing investigation. At this time, we can't continue on that.
And that is where Alexander tells me she sees more cracks in the system.
Did she receive prenatal care as a minor? How many children did she have as a minor? Those are things that
Hey,
did Job
Felicity.
and Family Services look into it at that point, so that we didn't get to a point where there were 16 children living in the basement.
On your side, I'm Chief Investigator Lisa Rontola.
Mhm. All right. So guys, I'm trying to get through all the questions that you have and that I have that I've had. All right. So that's why I'm doing this. And then we're going to get into psychology. A lot of other people are covering this case, but they're not answering all the questions that I want. And so I'll answer the questions for me and for you, because I am in a sort of a rabbit hole with this. Okay. 18 births, guys. This came out 7 hours ago. 18 births in less than 17 years have put a new focus on whether medical professionals should have spotted a sign of trouble in what was to become Vinton County's massive child endangerment case. Now, if this is true, and these children are all accounted for with birth certificates, we're halfway to waiting till the DNA test come back to see if truly all of these children were birthed by these two. If there was incest going on, if the children were having children with the father, with the grandpa. All right. Let's take a look. Let's answer some of these questions and get it out of the way.
Guys, as I said, I reviewed 15 birth certificates of the 16
There you
victims
go.
and 2 death certificates of the twins born in 2022. All
18 children. Okay. She reviewed all the birth certificates and the death certificate for the 2 conjoined twins. Also, Elizabeth is currently pregnant, awaiting trial. All right. Or awaiting not a trial, but they're going to they waive their right for a preliminary hearing, and they're going to have a grand jury indict them. All right. With an 8th grade education, just where would Elizabeth go? Get real, please. I'm not sure who's saying get real about what, but yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with y'all. Elizabeth's hoo-ha. Does she still have a hoo-ha left? I don't even think you can have kids anymore. He is a sex offender, may have victimized. I agree with that, Mindy, and that's my problem with this case. If you didn't do anything wrong except for have children and be dirty, what are you hiding the children for? Why aren't you coming out? Why aren't you declaring these children as children and getting them education? Why not get child support? I mean, not child support, but support, food stamps, whatever to help the family be better and do better. All right. Bye, Allie. Have a good night. I'm glad you made it. Who are the parents? Need no keep on. All right, let's continue. I just want to get some of these questions out of the way because we're all wondering the same thing.
State suspects Elizabeth Siders and her husband, Gary Siders Jr., as the parents. In fact, that same midwife delivered 6 of the children, 2 born when Elizabeth was legally a child herself.
According to the law, is neglect subject to mandatory reporting?
Abuse, neglect, and dependency.
Health professionals in Ohio must contact police or children's services if they suspect child abuse. I obtained records for 18 children that list Vinton County suspects Elizabeth Siders and Gary Siders Jr. as mom and dad. Their first was born at Holzer Health Systems in Gallia County when Elizabeth was just 15 years old.
All right, so if y'all are from this area, you've been watching this case to find out what the hell. All right, good to see you, Panda Ann. You're always right on time. So she was at the hospital. They didn't give birth in the house. All right, there's a couple things that they did that was correct, but what didn't they do that was correct? And that's why they're facing this. Gary was severely abused by his father. Look at the blank look on his face. I agree. That's why I ask you, who is liable, who should be accountable, who set the foundation for this? Yeah, and how did they get away with it for so long? I mean, those are just questions that will be answered.
And at least to report it and let the police investigate it.
At that point, legal expert Ron O'Brien says a mandated reporter should be questioning statutory rape.
It would be, as you say, a giant red flag that should warrant further inquiry by both the healthcare professional and the police agencies.
Records show Elizabeth then gave birth to 9 more babies at Holzer.
So this is real. When you're hearing this, that what you're hearing to be sensationalized, it's not really sensationalized that much. It's pretty accurate in the description of no running water, feces, and House of Horrors, right? And I agree. I mean, I showed you at the very beginning of both episodes, I led you to the warrant and why this even occurred, how they got caught. It was because Gary Sr. Jr., right? And I'm sorry, Gary Cedar Jr., I pronounced that wrong, had public indecency charges, and they had a warrant. They were going to arrest him for that. So he's got charges on that, and they went to the house and they found out how long would it be going on for. It is. They don't have the right charges, in my opinion, just yet. All right, let's get this out of here and bring that back up. Look at all these children, man. And I agree, you guys, people in the LDS and a long time ago, even now, they do have children like this, but there's always something that's wrong. Something when you hear about this many children, there's always abuse going on, sexual abuse or physical abuse or mental abuse. Are you guys with me on that? Right? What was the 8 passengers, the 8 passengers, everybody, the Duggards, every time you have children, the Turpins and children, there's always some kind of abuse involved behind the scenes. Always.
Over the next decade and a half, O'Brien says that number of children alone should have prompted more questions.
How are you taking care of the children?
And you guys now got to see that, right? You guys saw that what was a girl, who was a girl, who's a boy, who's a girl, who's a boy. So obviously the 2 oldest are girls. And those girls, I question, did they give birth? Are the 18-month-old and the 2-year-olds, are those children of these 2? Or are they children of these 2? Were they co-mingling with each other, the brothers and the sisters? The grandpa, the dad, who?
More questions.
How are you taking care of the children? What kind of birth protection are you utilizing? Do you want to have more children?
The next healthcare provider, Ohio Health. Records show Elizabeth Siders gave birth to conjoined twins at Riverside Methodist Hospital in Columbus in 2022, extremely premature. They died after an hour due to respiratory failure. Doctors at Ohio Health O'Bleness Hospital in Athens County delivered another set of twins in 2024 and a 4th set in 2025. I asked Ohio Health reps if they contacted Children's Services.
And guys, this is almost like a joke, and it's not though. Net Mathis, she is pregnant again, and it's almost I'm not going to call it comical. It's tragic, but man, she's pregnant again, guys. After all this, she's pregnant again. Hi guys, kittens in crime. What's better than kittens in crime? Not much.
They responded, because of federal privacy laws, we aren't legally allowed to share private health information on any patient without their consent. Athens County Children's Services also cited confidentiality when I asked if they acted on any tips. I also pressed the Vinton County prosecutor.
Was there any mandatory reporting, especially by hospitals or medical officials?
Yeah, I can't address that, sorry.
While O'Brien says no criminal laws may have been broken if no reports were made, I asked about any civil liability.
Thank you, Cuff You. I'm not sure if you came in a little late. We just actually showed the picture of Elizabeth. You got a layout of the house and more pictures, which we showed at the very beginning. I'll take a look though and see if there's anything I didn't show. Definitely worth it. I've been finding those everywhere scattered. So thank you, Cuff You. Let's continue. We got a lot to cover. I'll look at it right now.
Could be, and certainly it warrants further inquiry.
I asked our legal expert if missing any prenatal or post-birth appointments could be considered neglect. O'Brien, a former Franklin County prosecutor, tells me investigators are likely issuing subpoenas for all of those medical records right now. On your side, I'm Chief Investigator Lisa Ronta.
I think that's bullshit, and they should take accountability. There is better ones. Yep, you got it. Thank you, Cuff You. All right, I'm going to drop this down so that we can go back. Before we start getting into psychology and everything, you can see the real deal. The pictures in the house even closer and better up. Again, guys, trigger warning. Okay, trigger warning. I don't come here to bullshit you or to go easy. And when I do get hyped up or I start getting upset about something or calling, this is a poor excuse for a mom. It's just me letting out my passion towards this case and my frustration of these kids every day, guys. Every day I'm reporting on a kid that's been killed by their parents, or a kid that killed their parent, right? A 4-year-old just lost her life and they did a hoax again. Little Javea, guys. I get tired of seeing this again and again and again with nothing happening. All right, so let me share this. Let's look at some of this. Nina Drew, good to see you, my friend. Not going to school, truancy. This is sick. No school, no registration, no homeschool, nothing of the sort. And that's why it angers me when I start to reading this and I can't feel sympathetic for Elizabeth, because she's a grown-ass woman now and she could have done many things more than just laying around in a pile of shit all day. Okay? Again, we're going to go over the psychology, but it just makes me mad. Again, this is a better view. These are better, like, high-res photos. Thank you again, Cuff You. Oh, you have. Okay, you found better pictures. Thank you, Cuff You. I can't see all the chat when I'm doing this, so. All right, so look at that. I showed you the car, but this is much better. Cigar wrappers, cigarette butts, right? I don't even know. They probably tracked in food from the house. They're smoking cigarettes, yet they can't afford water and food. What? There's inside the car again. Is that your Uber driver? Look at this. I had not seen this one yet, guys. I don't know if this was a picture when they cleared out the living room, because there's a lot of clear area. But when you walk into that and you realize the rest of the house is like that with poop marks and you got Fireball bucket, alcohol, right? There's a Tiger Pick $99 from a long time ago. They got a picture up there. Nina Drew, remember, for 16 months. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for coming here. Continuing to come here. All right. It doesn't. Nothing. This has nothing to do with being poor. It has nothing to do with being poor. It has to do with being abusive. It has to do, was there sexual abuse? Was there incest going on? That's what it has to do with. And that's what we need to find out. And had Gary not been indecent doing things like that, I don't know exactly what he was doing, but I know he had his winky out, all right, several times. And so there's the Fireball book, and I didn't see that the last time, but there's a picture close up. There's that window from the front outside, and that's a zoomed in version versus this from a closer outside. Look at this. I mean, this house is just, I would never, this is a waste of space. You can't even use this. What are they doing? Throwing toilet paper and shitting out here? Doesn't this look like when you go to you go to a festival and there's a outhouse, you know, the toilets that are the outside, and the way the toilet piles up, you start seeing it pile up. That's what this looks like. This looks like just like it was something was draining down into them, and you got toilet paper and shit, throw up, feces, maggots. Ugh. Man, that made me sick the last time we looked at it. So I'm glad I did not eat. All right, look at that. There's the Siders family crime page. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm glad they did that. All right. Last known address. So that was their last address at the trailer park. Again, how did nobody know? Look at these. They're pretty tidy. How did they keep that many children without them knowing? Without anyone even knowing? This is the same trailer park. The two lived separately on their wedding day back in March 2000. Okay, so this was 2008. I know Gary lived 2 doors down from Elizabeth. Okay, that's the mother and father of all these children, allegedly. And then 2025, Siders live in the house across the street from Dollar General. That's now. Years before, they lived in a house on Honeysuckle. And then now we know they're on Omer currently. Okay, so in these last few years, they moved a few times. And we saw this. We went over these. I'm not going to go over the documents. Elizabeth, now comes the defendant, $300,000 bond. That's the July 8th. And this is a motion to expedite an oral hearing. Reasons for granting this motion set forth in the memorandum. I don't know why she's in a hurry to get out. Look at that. That's her? Oh my goodness, guys. This is her with I think the first baby. It doesn't even look like her. And look at her surroundings. She knows better. I don't see feces and things smeared on the anything. Yeah, this is hard. All right, so there it is. That's a good one. Even though I can't see the house, the floor underneath it, I think that E would probably be the room where they were locked up. So all the kids did not go to school. There's no CPS, there's no school, there's no registration, Nina, of any of these children even being registered in this town. There's a birth certificate, but those are from, every time they just stayed at the hospital. They didn't go anywhere. They didn't transfer to a school. They didn't go take the birth certificate and use it to get benefits. So nobody even knew that these children existed, except the people that knew that they were born. And they didn't think about this years later. All right. They didn't think, well, I wonder where that family is. I wonder if she has more kids. They could have been getting government assistance had they done this properly. I'm Puerto Ricans. My mom said you can be these children's broke a birth certificate. Mom said you can be these children's broke a birth certificate. I didn't understand that, but I understand Puerto Rico. Oh, she got to suffer persistent yeast infection like Siesto soda. Oh shoot. I'm not going to play that. I'll play a clip of it, but that's not what I'm covering today. But if you give me a timestamp, I can show that. All right. So send me a timestamp of where you want. I'm not going to do the whole 20 minutes because we're already in an hour and 40 and I haven't even got to the psychology yet. So I did mention it though. I did mention that there's an interview from the dollar store lady. There's like a 20-minute video of her talking. She describes controlling of Gary to Liz. All right, let's move on. Anyway, this is really good. Thank you, Cuff You. I appreciate that. There they are. That's a good picture of them. That's them before they are all decrepit. There's Grandpa and Grandma. What happened here, guys? They waived their rights to preliminary hearing. 4 adults, 16 rescued, 64 felonies, 18 months youngest, 2 airlifted, 3 sets of twins, 4 now, 1 died 4 years before discovery. Guys, we need a chart for this. We really do. And look at this. Look at the children there. Look at how many this is just unheard of. We should put the sex here too. But anyway, the girls, there's a lot more girls than there are boys in this. All right. This is great. There you go. Grandpa Paw. All right. Look at that. He turned from that to that. That guy is creepy and scary AF. Nina, look at that. Look at this guy. That's what he looks like. I don't know how he could walk around like that. All right. They are outraged being called feral, but then you look at the images and you see what happened. How could you not? The grandpa has a lot going on. That's what I got to say. He's looking both ways. He doesn't know which way he's going at this point. All right, again, I haven't even got to the psychology of it or any of that. So let me stop this. I'm going to put this up to start answering some of those. I really want to answer some of the questions with the psychology part. But before I do that, let's just take a quick look. This is the original filing for Elizabeth and the complaint. Now, this was a complaint that was brought to the prosecutors. So when a complaint is brought, they have to be indicted by a grand jury. There's 2 different processes. Had they found this out previous with the him doing indecent exposure, then they would have got a grand jury to indict them and they'd be sitting behind an indictment. But all they did was get a complaint based on the warrant and what they saw. And that complaint is now going to be brought to the grand jury because they skipped their pre-trial hearing. They said, no, we don't want that. Let's just go straight to it. All right. So that's what they want to do. And these charges are endangering a child, F2, count 2, endangering a child. There's a lot of, they have 64 counts in total. Right, again, we're not going to go over that. There's a lot of endangerment charges that will last her, and she'll be in prison the rest of her life, especially if the younger or the 2 children that were airlifted don't come through. Okay. I mean, so this is just pages and pages and pages. Look at that. 7 pages. And this is just a complaint. This is not an indictment. It's talking about violating and furthermore resulting in serious physical harm. All right. Now let's talk about the trauma. Is she a victim? And when did that turn from a victim to abuser? All right, Nina Drew, the house looked like feral cats live there. How do the teens have social media? Exactly. Well, that's what we're going to find out because, there's a lot more to this story, obviously. All right, let me take a look. Are you getting a timestamp for me, Synth, or do you want me to look? All right, thank you so much for the $4.99. Yeah, did you see those pictures? Those pictures show you what they're working with. All right, what they were doing, how they were living. This is great right here. This is the only person that I've seen like come straight out the gate and ask this. Trauma bonding, coercive control, and Ohio Siders case, a clinical breakdown. She comes right out of the gate. You guys go sub up to Denise Brady, licensed therapist on YouTube. It's in the description if you need it. I could drop the link as well. Check it out.
A lot of people are asking, is she a victim? Is she an abuser? Can she be both? Now, as a therapist, there's a lot of things I want to discuss. We've heard this term Stockholm syndrome, which is relatively outdated. What happens when you have coercive control, trauma bonding, complex PTSD? Because this isn't one singular abusive event. It's over 18 years of multiple events, patterns of abuse. So I want to go deeper into helping people
That's going to just kind of understand where she fell into this, right? Nina Drew, the kids didn't go to school, and that's why law enforcement is saying they couldn't read or write. It's 18 years of this, Nina Drew. This is just, it's like multiple generations going on. Okay, thank you, Flo Joe. I sent you a short clip of the warrant and the initial. Ooh, that should be a good one. I have the warrant, but I didn't see the initial police visit. All right, let's get into this so we can have some time.
Understand the different layers of trauma bonding with your abuser. Some of you guys are trauma bonding with your parents.
And guys, if you don't agree with this, please disagree in chat respectfully. Okay, I just want to show you some of the things, and we're going to show you the interview out. We're going to show you all perspectives. You decide.
Parents who are your abusers. And I think it's hard to talk about. It's hard to say, but come on in. Let's talk about, let's do a deep dive on Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you.
The abuse, all of it. And some of you guys, I think you have been through similar.
All right, let's go forward. Ooh, that sounds terrible.
A victim when she's also an abuser. Now, if these allegations.
Now, remember, her lawyer made a bold statement, guys. The bold statement was Elizabeth does not see herself as a victim. So if she doesn't see herself as a victim, then she's got to be on the side of being an abuser. Okay. And yes, maybe she needs lots of therapy, lots of mental health. That I say she should do that. That should be mandatory. All right. But let's listen to at least how this affects trauma bonding. Maybe she doesn't even know that she needed to get help. Maybe she's going to thank the prosecutor later and say, oh man, I didn't even know I was in this house from 13 to 15. They kept me with Gary and I just started having kids. I didn't know any better. Right. We don't know.
Hold up, which I'm not sure if they really will. Thank you. When it comes to her. I think people don't understand how deep control, manipulation, 18 years at 13. Yep. And I've also seen the comments of, well, she wanted to get married. She forced her parents to sign those papers. Do y'all think about the things y'all say before you comment them? Does that logically make sense? A 13-year-old marrying a man? To me, it goes back into, I think people just don't get it. They don't. There are patterns here. Developmentally, imagine yourself at 13 marrying somebody.
No, hell no.
14 having your first baby. Developmentally, once again. Now, they're going to court over these 16 children. And I still wonder about the system in place. If she was pregnant all those times, it shows me how the system failed her. Is she going for prenatal appointments? I've heard some people say she gave birth at a hospital each time. They travel so much. But I also wonder about the follow-up. Postpartum. medical appointments. You would think as
obviously her parents didn't really care to keep her close to them, Donna Clark, because they signed off with a judge on her marrying this guy, and it's been like that. It's almost like their personal, yeah, it's terrible. It's just therapy. I definitely think she needs therapy. I don't think prison should be like they should just throw her in prison, because she is going to get out one day, and she is fertile as fuck, and she's going to have more children. She's already having another child right now, right? Exactly. Puppy love it. I'm convinced her parents signed off on it. Prove it. I think they did too. You're not convinced, or you're okay. Well, she's pregnant, y'all religious, and you force her to many things, then that's on. All right, let's continue. Yeah, they pushed her off. They didn't care.
At some point, somebody would say, hey, she's had, like a couple kids here. Should we go and check on them? She hasn't come back.
Right.
I would think a doctor would see something else is going on here. But let's get into a little bit about her attorney speaking up. I found a couple clips that I want to go over and discuss. So hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
Yep, go sub up to this woman. She's awesome. And I'm gonna gift another membership here. So hit the like button, drop yourself a comment. All right. That way you could win a membership. All right. And if we get to the goal, then I'll give out one of my Guilty of Crime books for one lucky person. All right. And if anyone wants to donate that or get a membership, you have to have a membership and be in the US. Get a membership, Mrs. Redhead. How are you doing? All right. I'm going to dig through the back real quick. 1 second.
Pure evil in the comments. But I want to separate Stockholm syndrome, because that's for me at times feels like a clinically outdated term.
Yes, I agree.
And narrow it more to the phenomenon of hostage bonding with their captors. I also want to talk about how media shorthand is labeling this as Stockholm syndrome, but it's something more. It's trauma bonding and coercive control. There's much more evidence, stronger evidence here, a long-term basis of control, manipulation within a family, people you are familiar with. That layer of it also, I'm familiar with these people. And once again, some people are saying, well, how come when she went to the doctor, or they went to the store, they went to Family Dollar, how come she didn't run away? Are we victim blaming here? And I could tell so many people have never been in a situation like this, never been in a DV, domestic violence situation, never been in a situation where if I run, one, what will they do to me when they catch me? Two, do I really want to leave my kids? Having to make that choice, it's me or them. I have the opportunity to run out that back door of the store, but then I would leave my kids. Could you be in a place where...
And this is why I want to discuss this, because this is crossed over into multiple generations, Nina Drew. The old days, we just showed you the old days where a 48-year-old man married a 14-year-old girl, and that's from the same Siders family, guys. All right? Same Siders family. We're not in the old days anymore, and it's just we're not understanding why the old days, I guess, have crossed over into 2026. I think that's the hardest thing for any of us to grasp is how did that happen? Well, I mean, we're seeing it. I'm giving you logical explanations. We're showing that the judge signed off on it. We're hearing that the parents let them at 15. All right. So, I mean, yeah, Gary Siders' older brother, Richard, married a 14-year-old girl named Tessie when he was 48. Guys, that is absolutely disgusting. I showed the picture earlier of her, Flojo, him and her, and it's disgusting. Is that why, Belinda? Hello. Oh, yeah. All right, let's continue. We got a lot. I'm going to find that the lady from Dollar Store, see what she has to say.
Leave your kids and choose yourself. That's why I don't think Stockholm syndrome is the right term. I think people don't understand the layers, emotional, physical, becoming a dependent to somebody. She has no financial well-being. I think this might be a public defender here also.
I asked her that question.
That's another thing. No, I wonder how much, outside connection she's had to what the real world is like. TV,
they didn't
newspaper.
Even there's no TVs or
different
newspaper.
Things.
There was nothing in there. But
this is prolonged domestic abuse, family abuse. Control isn't maintained through constant violence, intermediate reinforcement.
All right, let me stop for a second. Fuzzy memory, maybe totally wrong, but I swear I thought the day this broke, it was said another man lived there but wouldn't be charged. Maybe mixing up cases. Also wondering about the cats. You know what, Allie? I don't know if I'm saying your name right, Allie, but there are other people that were registered at that house that we saw documented to live there, but we don't know who it was. And yeah, I don't know anything about that. I know that they had cats in and around, but I don't know how many they had. We're not getting clear answers from anybody. All right, I heard she called her mom for bail. Oh shit. It's got to be cash though. They are guilty of crime. I agree. Hence why I called the name that. I can't find it, Synth. Who was the creator? Can you text me?
Oh, we see you getting a little bit of freedom, pull it back. We're going to think that you have a little bit of control here, but you really don't. Little breaks in between. Unpredictable kindness mixed with punishment. Isolation from outside reality, like I said, in order for her to not have a personal identity. If all you know is this, if all you know is what we do in this house, then once again, you think this is normal. The pathology of this is a normal environment.
I got it.
This is how people love you. This is how people treat you. And you get absorbed into that system that your brain shifts. In order for me to survive, maybe I have to do some of the same things. Maybe I have to show I'm aligned with them just to survive. Y'all haven't watched Criminal Minds? All them other crime shows I'll be watching, 360, First 48. Oftentimes people say that once they escaped intense abuse, being captive, held hostage, one of the things was they started to align with their abuser in order to survive, trying to manipulate them to think, I do love.
Now, this is beyond that, right? This is way beyond that. And that's why I'm looking into this so that I can be fair. Exactly. Live and learn, I'm thinking, but I'm missing an end. She likely had no resources or knowledge to even know how to escape or to know that something was wrong. But I got to tell you, she had to have known it was wrong because they were hiding the children. They only brought the children out at night. They only moved them at certain points. They only went to the dollar store where certain people saw them. Renee, okay, well, yeah, more red flags for sure, for sure. All right, victim becomes selfish. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I say, where the hell did she become a victim? She was a victim at 13, in my opinion, and then 15. And even all the way up until 18. But when they started hiding the children from everybody and moving at night and dodging things and putting them into school, guys, that's where it becomes abuse. And I don't care if anyone gets mad about me saying that's where that becomes abuse, is when you don't give your children, the proper nourishment, the proper vitamin C, vitamin D, toilet, water, all the stuff that they need. Royal Bitchex, good night. Happy Friday, everybody. All right, let's get back to that. And we're going to listen a little bit, and then we're going to go to the dollar store lady. What she says about them. She saw them. They were dirty and stinky and smelly.
Love you. I do like this. We can do it together. Y'all haven't heard them stories? The shift from being controlled to being the enforcer, enforcing control on others. Because once again, that is my only path of safety and survival. This is a person who has only functioned out of survival. And once again, I wonder about the system that she was born into. Now, there has been things online here and there on Facebook.
I don't even think that matters if it doesn't get into court. All right. If they're not going to show prior, let's say prior, we're not going to call it prior bad acts, but if they're not going to lay the foundation and say, hey, these people are they've generationally done this. Look at this, and they approved that, and they got slipped through to try to take some of the load from the charges that Elizabeth is facing, at least just for her. That's why I say, who should be charged and for what, right? I could smell them through the pictures. I know. And again, she didn't magically become 18 and she turned into, that's why we're talking about this. There is no magical, there's absolutely trauma bonding in this, and it's real. but she says she's not a victim. So how far do we really have to go back into her mind and into her psyche to say, hey, Elizabeth, do you remember when you had your first baby? How beautiful the baby smelled and how clean the car was that you brought home and and all the other stuff before this life, right? Get her help.
I'm not sure which is true, that they've been looking for her for so long. Her mother had posted things on Facebook. Her brother is speaking out.
Yeah.
I wonder about that dynamic. And her switching her mind after years, not even switching. I'm not going to use that word switching. Let me take that.
And you know what? Let me tell you, I'm glad she's breaking this down. This is not switching. It's just how she learned it. And if she didn't get a chance, I understand that. I understand she was failed, but so were those children. She is the mother of those children. That means she failed them. So live and learn. I want to use this as an example. Many abused kids go on to abuse other adults. Others do not an excuse. Now, listen, this is not an excuse. If this were a pedophile case, right? If I were talking about pedo things, you guys would be right behind me. If she was 13 and then 15 and she was being essayed and then she went on to have kids and essay them, nobody would say she's a victim of this. No, you would be like, fuck that. Get rid of her, lock her up forever. We don't even care what her psyche is at this point or when she went from victim to abuser. I know that because the tolerance for pedos. But just think about that. She's still doing harm to those children. All right. And we don't think about how many families are like this, but we have one in front of us. And yeah, they were sneaky. They were hiding stuff. It just doesn't. If she was sexually abusing her children, you guys would be fuming and you would say, why are you even playing the psychology and the trauma bonding? Screw her. She's an abuser. So where does it cross the line?
Back. Her slowly being conditioned.
That's a good word.
Over years. That in order for me to survive, I need to participate in this being my only path of safety. That mechanism is how she became who she is today. In some ways engage in that. But I don't want this to be seen as, well, that's how she became evil. Because Elizabeth is not evil. Elizabeth is a victim.
See, this is crazy because that's what the attorney is saying, and he's painting her as this mom that's really worried about her children and she just wants to get back to them. And I understand that, but what about when she did have them and there was 2 of them that needed ICU that were 24 hours away from death? What about that?
She's a survivor, and I think we are too quick to blame victims because people don't understand. How could you stay? You went to the store and they were sitting in the car. Why didn't you just run? It's easy to look at that from an outside perspective. Why didn't you just do this? Why didn't you just do that? When you never experienced it. You've never been with someone who's emotionally, physical, all ways that they can be in control of your every move.
Guys, she is not on any of our level as far as a mother goes. All right. We know that. That's why we're talking about when did this turn from a victim to being an abuser, or is she both? Is she both a victim and an abuser at the same time? And who should be charged for the crimes? True, once you become a mother, it's not about you and it's caring for your babies. But if I were to put it in a different light, it's in the description, my friend. I dropped it earlier, but yeah, check a look at the description. It's a new lady that I have not used before. It's definitely there, my friend.
And then they mix that with kindness to make you think you have some power and control. Sprinkles of kindness. Letting you have little bits of control in the dynamic. It's to keep you shackled. It's to keep you in line by thinking, once again, this is okay.
Question in a couple roundabout ways. And she did not have a typical victim-minded mindset when answering. She did say that she misses her kids. And that's one of the things that shocked me was the first question that she asked me was, are the kids okay? When can I see the kids? And do you know anything about where they are? Investigation is.
Now, is that to you an abuser? Do abusers ever ask in a empathic way? Do abusers ever admit to the things that they've done? And you guys ask, Why and how can abused victims become an abuser? Victimization and perpetration are not mutually exclusive categories. And that's the thing. I think people have these like really black and white patterns of thinking that they don't even realize that at times it has to be either or. Things can't coexist, especially where we live in today, the society that we're living in. They can coexist in the same person at the same time, but it's hard for people to believe because they haven't experienced it. That's how I can tell from the comments. Y'all haven't experienced being in a coercive control.
And guys, I'm just in the middle here. I think that she absolutely was an abuse, or she was a victim. I don't want to victim blame. She still is a victim, but she also could be a victim and be culpable and liable for what happened to the children that she birthed. All right. So there's nothing black and white in this situation here, guys. And the reason we're focusing on her is because she's the woman that brought 18 children into this world, 2 of them which died. Okay. So that's why we're focusing on her, because she's the one that birthed them, allegedly.
Only trauma bonded relationship. You haven't had to overcome parents, friends, significant others who are very much controlling. And I am very deeply ingrained in pushing back against the monster labeling of Elizabeth. And it's more about developmentally, she was 13. She has complex trauma, prolonged, inescapable abuse that she's been trying to survive. And the only way I think she learned or picked up on surviving is to engage.
Yep.
But it's sad because of, look at that, a 12 by 12 foot room. All those kids. The house itself was not big. The floor was corroded. No showering. Look how limp her hair looks. Look at her eyes. Look at the bruises.
But I wonder what she did during the day. Was she just laying down all day, and then her and her man were trying to find a good spot to make another child? That's very valid, Nina Drew. I posted this comment, but earlier you said something about that. You said where did they even fornicate at? I can understand the neglect, but have the abuse charges been explained, or does Ohio consider they to be one and the same? That's what we need to figure out, Shannon, because right now it's all one and the same. Right now, all 4 are charged with the exact same thing. And it still doesn't change the fact that 16 kids were rescued. Out of the 16, 2 of them were airlifted. 1 of them is still in the ICU. So that doesn't change that fact, and it doesn't change any of the charges right now. None of them. Yes, neglect is a form of abuse. But we don't know what's going to happen when they do DNA test. Were they procreating with each other? She was so young. No one teaches you how to parent. She sadly relied on grandma and pops and trusted them. I agree with that too. All right, let's keep going. That's a long episode today, guys. Hit that like button. If you guys get me in the algorithm, hype the channel, gift the membership. Come on, guys. Oh, I got to put this back up. Hold on.
Guys, to, try and work on the pattern of thinking that puts everything into this binary, this black and white, this either or. What have you really gained from that? How is it helping you learn? Or maybe you don't want to learn.
Politically motivated. I think the investigators and law enforcement work on the ground. So they see what's right there, right in front of them. They don't necessarily have the benefit of the hindsight conversation. So I think a lot of the snapshots that got out there into the media and on press conferences were based on those initial perceptions.
Do you guys also think the police sometimes rush to do media conferences?
Of course.
Is it that they feel forced to give information? Is it that in some ways police, sheriffs kind of love the
It's interesting that you popped up on that comment, Cat's Meow, because if police didn't come, she would be hiding her babies in the basement of shit and garbage. That's evil, is what you say. So, yeah, 33 is not young. She had a lot of time to develop and learn and grow, and learn that she needs to protect her kids. Brother said she suffered as a kid herself and married him to escape the family. Talk about escaping the frying pan to dive in the fire. Right, kittens in crime? Yes, but Grandpa was outside exposing himself. That's a crime for the children living there. And you know what, Nina Drew? What you're saying is crazy because, yeah, where did they have the time or space to be making more babies? And why were the children only in a 12 by 12 when they had access to outside of the house? They had vehicles they could drive and other things. I just don't get it. Thank you. Beverly, good night. Is this too long for you? Is this episode way too long for y'all? All right, let's continue. This is not black and white, and she's right on that. Sometimes I can be very black and white in a case. She has an 8th grade education, and her man had a 9th grade education. All right, Ninny, hey, how you doing? So yes, we don't know the dynamics at all, but we're about to learn, and we wouldn't have known had good old Gary not exposed himself.
Some might say maybe a little bit of clout.
Yeah, it was
in
Junior.
this whole thing, because I notice more and more we're seeing more media news conferences. Well, all these people stand in the back, but I wonder also, what are they gaining? And was it necessary? And how that leads to the public feeding into the abuse narrative in this case. In other cases, we see railroading someone before they even have a just due trial.
My Leo friend.
It really leads me to also think about the role that the media, police media, not just media on the other side, the CNNs, the bloggers, Good Day America, those people, but also communication staff within police departments.
You know why they're doing this so hard and so fast, in my opinion, is because they're trying to take the responsibility off of themselves. And I'm talking about the sheriff, the town, everybody that's responsible for making sure those kids were going to school, etc. They want that out of their peripheral, put the blame on them and move forward. Now, we don't know how can they find out about the father? Oh, it's easy. DNA. They're doing DNA tests to find out whose strain is what. And if the children are just the two, or it's easy to do. Lane. Okay. All right, Beverly. But if you fall asleep, then good night. And Shannon says, I like the long episodes. I know you guys do. All right. Well, hit that like button. I love it too. I missed the heck out of you guys yesterday, but I just couldn't do it yesterday. Sometimes I just can't bring myself to some of the cases when I'm having a day. My mother had a child by her stepfather, was violent to me and my siblings, and we pray our generation was the last. I agree, Lizzie. I agree. And that's why it's so much the way it is now. I know this is global news. They're feeling the heat. They are feeling the heat, guys.
Because we also know that they leak stuff to the media too. Look at TMZ. They got somebody working in the system, not just one, multiple. But how police media also aids the public in jumping to conclusions and judgments.
And that's not the whole story. It doesn't tell us why something happened. It doesn't actually present a narrative as to who these people are and who these children are in that context. So I would say we are still so very early on in this case. And it takes time. But unfortunately, first impressions really do matter. Yeah. And so when we have language like pure evil, it's important to combat that language and say innocent until proven guilty. Because that's what Elizabeth is, and that's what all of her family who lived in that home are. They're innocent until proven guilty.
I don't know, Mr. Attorney. You kind of lost me on that one. You lost me a little bit on. I think that's true. Ethically, yes. Ethically, yes. Everyone in the house is not guilty. Innocent until proven guilty. I do get that.
Yeah, he's just doing the defense thing that the defense attorneys do, right? I agree with that. And that's why we are in the state we are right now with, losing children, not knowing that like Javea was even missing for a month. How do we change that? How do we account for these children? DNA has not come back, or I'd have been all over that, my friend. When DNA comes back, I'm going to be all over that. They did say that, but I just showed the social medias from the oldest too. And she spelled just fine, and she was communicating with other people. They all like doing it, it seems. All right, let's continue. We're going to get through this.
So I get you guys say that, but come on now. Everybody.
He's doing his defense thing.
To allow this thing, and to have faith in the system, and to allow this process.
I can't have faith in the system.
Nah, I don't either.
Done that too many times.
Now, the system is just semantics, guys. It's whatever gets brought into court. and can be dispelled, or what doesn't get brought into court. So they might not even let in the fact that this family has a generational cycle of having marriages to younger women and doing this pattern, and grandpa and grandma signing off on this and helping with it, right? Dark scale. What are we getting from dark scale? All right, let's keep going.
The system failed her. When you really look at it, the system is part of the abuse. How is it that, she had all them kids? Some of you are saying she had them at a hospital, probably as they moved different hospitals, that no one kind of, as they're doing pelvic exams, did she really, if she did go to appointments, postpartum, prenatal appointments, no one did something seems off about this. Even when you're doing her health report, I guess there's probably not some kind of, like, y'all let me know in the chat, there's some kind of universal healthcare system where you can see that a person has gave birth, I don't know, 10 plus times. I think physically also looking at her, I would have some questions. What address did she put on those doctor appointment paperwork? I heard she was also trying to get like free diapers and things like that. What address does she have to use? Because those are government assisted programs. So you have to use some type of address to
go a little forward, because we have all these questions too, but I just want to make sure that we're on the same page, and we're getting this information from people like this guy. All right. People like this guy that are seeing the conditions and saying, man, this is really messed up. They can't look past what they're seeing. So that's what I'm going to show you.
Crime scenes, these type of cases, the things they see and deal with. Now, this person is an EMT who was on site that day.
So I get into the squad. Sure enough, I have a load of children in the back that were clearly not in the greatest shape. They were very quiet. Other than that, we turned around, ran licensed sirens to the hospital for a quick turnaround because we may have to transport more children.
Why is it
and all I can think of is this is a big scene for our tiny community. Hamden doesn't have that many people. Benton County and the whole spec of it doesn't have a lot of resources. So we contacted Jackson County, and they got more squads there, first responders. And they arrived pretty quickly as well. And I mean, it was a situation we're not used to dealing with.
Right, chaos.
I work for Jackson County EMS too, part-time. And when we go to houses, there's a few that we know about that are kind of these kind of conditions, but not so much that you see that number of children that are in that situation. If they were, you report that. This one just kind of caught us out of surprise, really, because we didn't really expect. This house didn't even look like anyone was living in it. But providing care to these kids. Mainly, I was focused on driving, getting down to the hospital. Our closest hospital is from Hamden, probably about 20 minutes. I knew it was just quiet. That's what it was. Blank expressions. Of course, they were scared. They never endured anything like that before. They didn't know where they were going, that kind of situation.
Did they have any questions for you as you were?
They didn't.
And you got to imagine that the family, the mom, the dad, the grandpa said, don't say anything. Don't tell about this, and that, right? Just keep quiet. We'll work it out, whatever. So this is what he's reporting to, seeing the children. Yes. Bless that first responder, guys. Bless him. And all the other ones. Now, what happened? Yeah, we could point fingers, but at the end, they're two responsible mom and dad. I agree, Cat's Meow. But in this particular episode, I am normally very black and white about things just because I have strong opinions. And I do have a strong opinion that Elizabeth is a victim and an abuser at the same time, and she absolutely needs to get help. Right? I hate when doctors ask how many pregnancies have you had, how many live births. You know what they do ask too, Wendy and everybody else? They ask you if you're being abused now. They take you into the room. All right. In the old days, they would send a nurse to follow up to make sure the baby were fine at home. But guess what they do now? They make sure throughout your pregnancy, and this has been for a long time, when you go into doctors with your pregnant wife, the doctor says, I want you to come in first without your spouse. And they ask him, are you being abused? Is there things you can't say? Do you want to say anything? And then they'll let your spouse come in with you. Now, I know that because we had a baby. I have a 26-year-old, but that was way back. 26-year-old and an 11-year-old. And every doctor's appointment that we went to, they would call Mrs. Guilty in and ask her, and they wouldn't let me in until after. So they treated me the same as they would a husband. They treated her as hey, are you abused? Has she done anything to you? Do you have anything you want to say without her? And then they'll bring me in. So did they not do that? I know. That's what I'm saying. So that means that they were just completely evasive and they just hid this thing. Well, I don't know about that, Wendy. I want to agree with you, but there's so many women that have children in the LDS and these religious, sectors. So are they victims? I don't know. I can't classify all of them.
To me, I try to have limited contact unless I was asked to help with the children. I started walking up to the scene.
Honestly, they probably know not to speak to strangers. They probably know not to speak to strangers. They're probably so scared, frightened. And once again, I don't think this community and a lot of communities are equipped
There
to
you
handle
go.
these kind of situations. And I wonder about everybody involved, not just, the family, the kids, EMT, people at the hospital that those kids arrive to.
Well, even the dollar store people are shocked, I guess. She was 15 when she got married. 13. Allegedly, she had another child before that. There is no really source. They just say that throughout the different articles about because she met her husband. Elizabeth met Gary when she was 13. She lived 2 doors down from him in a mobile park. Okay, so he was probably already, hitting it from every way he could. Think about it. A 15-year-old, a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old, and then ultimately 15 and 18. So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot in this. Older picture, she looks so put together. Full face, smiling. I know.
We need to talk more about vicarious trauma. How people pick up the emotions, the energies. You're hearing people's stories all the time, whether it's you're watching it on TV, whether you're in the field, you're a therapist, you're in the field as somebody who's a first responder. Vicarious trauma is important to discuss. Vicarious trauma, sometimes referred to as secondary trauma, is when you are repeatedly exposed to traumatic events, stress, and we see that here with EMT people in my field. You are taking on, once again, the feelings, the emotions, the things you witness. And
amen for her saying that, because that is true. I mean, yeah, she looks defeated. I'm telling you, just as somebody that reports this stuff to you, it's hard to keep everything that I see and keep everything that I hear and be composed. And then to have a thought about something, to be like, oh, I'm feeling this way, or I'm thinking this way, and to someone to come in and try to just smash that feeling when you've gone through all this emotionally with these people. And that's what these people are facing right now. They experience the children enough to say, yeah, this is pretty evil for the parents to do, right? I can't imagine being 33 and pregnant, half my life, and pregnant again, Wendy B. Just every month.
Detail over time. Firefighters, police.
We're gonna talk about them.
I move on with my day. Gotta make sure I take care of myself. Being in the field for over 16 years at this point.
All right, you guys, go sub up to this woman, Denise Brady. She's got she's got this channel. She's a licensed therapist. I dropped the link to her channel already. It's in my description. And it's here, but I can't. The name of her channel is like Denise Brady Therapist. So it's Denise Brady something. It's in my description. That's the only reason I'm not telling you the name, because I can't click on it right now, and I already put it in the description. But it is this, like Denise Brady Therapist, and she's awesome, man. This is the first time I found her. Denise Brady Therapist at gmail.com. There you go. See, Denise Brady LBC. You can check out her other stuff there. Go sub up to her channel. She's awesome. I love what she's putting out there. She's very neutral about things. And, well, she's coming straight from what her background is and what she learned. So, all right, let's take a look at this then. So this is from Criminally Obsessed, guys, the House of Horrors local. Now, this is pretty important because these are red flags that were revealed. They weren't just revealed to this woman. Many people, as I'm researching this case and looking at X and looking at Facebook, there's whole communities looking at this case now and the aftermath of what happened and what they experienced, what they saw, bits and pieces of. This lady says that Elizabeth had nothing in her eyes and she believes that it was all malice, right? So how did we get there? She also says she saw her pregnant, but never saw a baby again. Neighbors are saying the same thing. So nobody did anything. They saw it and they didn't do anything. All they did was talk shit to each other, in my opinion. All right. So Ariel recounts her first encounter with Elizabeth and Gary at the first day at Dollar Tree. I'll start there because I don't want to go like the whole time, but she's recounting this stuff. And let's see, 339. Let's
the Siders and who you saw. We'll just kind of take it step by step.
So, like I said, I started working at the dollar store for about 2 years ago. When I first saw them was my first day, and Elizabeth and Gary Jr., and it was in the evening at night, around 9:45. It was always close to closing. They would come in there and buy these two main items were always there. It was a jug of water and oil, but it wasn't like the big thing of oil. It was like a little oil, decent size oil, the little kind. And occasionally there'll be sugar, other items, and once in a blue moon, not all the time, it would be diapers. But I didn't think anything of it. The reason why, when I first saw them, a couple of employees did help, like buy hygiene and stuff, which out of our own pocket, of course, help them with the hygiene, help them with bags of clothes, because
I didn't say she was, and no one said she was, I don't think anyone said she was pregnant at 13. If I said that, that was something that I read on there. I never thought she was pregnant at 13. I know she had one child, and that was from the picture I showed you prior to all of this. All right. But I don't think anyone's contesting that. We're trying to find out where, Heather, where it's documented, because we keep seeing that. But I'm definitely not pushing that narrative that she was 13. She was 15 when she got married. She was pregnant, but we don't have the. Do you know her, Heather? Are you a family member or do you have an article? Because I really want to know. Oh, okay. You said it. Okay. Well, you guys be respectful to each other in chat, please. If you said that, then tell us where you saw that. I'm not going to get into your chat. Let's go.
It's a poor community, so we want to help. I don't have no reason to judge them if they're struggling. Here's what I can do to help. Here's what we can do to help. But once we started to notice that the items weren't being used at all, that's when we kind
of, mind you, they were, look at her, I caught her at the wrong time. They were giving away things. They were giving items and they weren't being used, which I don't know why. All right. I heard the same thing too. It's going around there. All right. Lucky says she was pregnant at 12 and gave birth at 13 years old, was reported on ABC6. Thank you, Lucky. Much love to you. Yeah. I say stuff when I read it, but I'm not, I wasn't there. I don't know. Thank you. Appreciate
you. Took a step back and was like, okay, well, maybe they took it as an insult.
I don't need
of us trying to help them.
How do you know they weren't used?
They were still in the same clothes for months, had holes, dirt, filth. You could tell they didn't take showers. You could tell like the deodorant wasn't being used.
How often were they coming into the store, Ariel?
I want to say every time I worked, I seen them, and I worked anywhere from 3 to 4 days. And on my days off, like I said, this is the only, store around here. So I live close to the store too on my days off. And when I went in to go buy items, I seen them late at night. Like I wasn't working, but I did still see them there. They were my regulars. I expected to see them before closing, if that makes any sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, Ariel, it sounds like you probably had the most communication with these people out of possibly anyone. How far away, as far as you know, how far away is the Dollar General from where this?
Right across the street, like across a big highway. Well, it's not even big. Thank you, Lucky. I appreciate you. It's not a big highway. In that town, it's small. No, she had one that was not Gary Siders at third. Thank you. Thank you, Annie. Anaya. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do appreciate y'all. Right? Baked as fuck with them red eyes. Yeah, you're just wanting your hashtag take your meds right now, y'all. If you need to take your meds, go take your meds. All right. She could have said something too. I agree. 110%. Nobody did. And you know what's the weirdest thing is there's a lot of people coming forward now saying that they knew these people. They engaged with these people. They had communications with these people. And there was whispers, but nobody did anything. All right. Nobody did a damn thing. I think they just thought that they were in this capsule back in the 1950s, or not even 1950s. What am I saying? It's like the 1900s freaking, where no one cared about anything. But realistically, 1940, 1950, where you'd be married off because your mom doesn't want to, that pay for that extra child. So you get married off to some husband that takes care of you and you have your own children. That's what they did. They thought they were encapsulated in a fucking time machine and that they would just be there. Nobody would ever check that. And they got comfortable, just like the Murdochs, right? When you look at the Murdoch case and how they were running it, man, they had that shit down. They were stealing properly. They were laundering. They were doing everything that they could just right for like 20 years. And then bam, I think that's what happened here, is that they got so comfortable in their hiding and maneuvering and what they were doing. They didn't think they were going to get caught. And they didn't even think, if they did, that this was going to be the repercussions. I don't think so. What's up, Wyatt? You are very late, but I'm glad you're here. I did not know, Jay. I think they were all special needs. I don't think they were special needs. I think that's now turned around, because that was just the very initial first responders saying that they don't read, they don't write, they don't talk. And we've debunked that. That's completely untrue. Completely untrue.
House was where the 16 children were discovered. Do you know?
It's like a 2-minute car ride from the store. So I want to say 5 blocks, maybe 6.
Okay. So really close.
Yes. Very close. Very close. Yes.
Did you see them walking or did you see them driving?
What I seen them driving, I have saw them walk a couple times, but like I said, I never saw them with kids, but only twice in the 2 years. I never saw them with the older Christina and Gary Sr. I never saw them 4 together. So when I saw their faces on the mugshots, I was just like, what?
Where are y'all coming from? Everybody's rolling in late. Hey, I'm just happy that you're here, guys. And I want to thank all of you for everything today that you're supporting for the channel, but especially a special thanks to Nina Drew. I'm going to gift this at the end of the episode. I'll sign it and mail it to whoever wins. You have to be in the green, which means get yourself a membership. And then you'll email me and I will sign my book and I will send it to you. And you don't have to worry about me. I don't sell your stuff. I'm not going to ever contact you. And a lot of people in this chat have had me sign stuff and send it and never heard from me again. So, and not in a bad way, but hey, let's get yourself a book. You guys you will not regret it. I promise. All right. Good to see you, Teresa. Big hugs. All right, let's continue. You guys are awesome tonight, man. Everyone's so cool tonight. It's nice to have smaller chats because we don't have a bunch of weirdos coming in and interrupting.
Right.
They're all together. They're related. Like, I didn't think they were together because the older couple, when I did see them, and it wasn't all the time, it was a handful of times, they were clean. They were dressed nice. They didn't stink. They didn't have an odor.
That's true.
And when I saw Gary and Elizabeth, let's just say I would have to Lysol before they came in, Lysol while they were in the store, and Lysol while they left the store. That's how bad the odor was. I didn't know that they had kids with them. Like I said,
guys, nobody would really think about the fact that they wouldn't think that the fact that they literally gave birth, just 2 people gave birth to all those children. None of us do. I mean, I initially thought right out the gate that there was incest going on. All right. The hospital is probably going to give Elizabeth serious meds when she's 4. And maybe they could do something because they failed. They all failed everybody. Maybe the hospital can, I don't know, man. Somebody needs to correct their wrongs. Did someone say weirdo? Callie. All right, let's continue. Look at her eyes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pause it there. Don't look at me like that.
Earlier, I did see the kids twice in 2 years, and they came into the store. And when I saw them, they mimicked their mother. So they looked pale. They were very thin. They had their hair over their head. And I honestly, personally thought they were visiting, my personal opinion, because I never saw them with kids. So when I saw them twice, I didn't know they had 16 kids, period. I thought she had 5 because of the 4 I saw, and then when she was pregnant, which I never saw the baby at all after the pregnancy. So I thought they were visiting. They came over.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, Krista, but two people what? Anyway, yeah, the 2 people gave birth to all of those children, allegedly. Not gave birth. Mom and dad, right? Made all those children. Happy weekend to all. Hey, Noel. I'm glad you guys are here, man. We've had 400 and something people in chat, and we only have 286. Come on, guys. I thought you liked my episodes. All right, let's continue. I won the last book, and it's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let them know.
Because when they went into the store, she would ask them, what would you like to buy? Or what would you like? They would point. She said, go ahead and go get it. And then they would get soda, chips, or whatever they got and checked it out. Now, did they eat it? I don't know. Did they consume it? I don't know. I just know I checked it out and they walked out the store with it.
How old do you think they were? Can you kind of give me that?
So there was 4. I don't know if they were the same set of 4, but I do know that at least 2 teenagers and then 2 younger than teens. So like 4, 5, 6, anywhere around that age, but at least 2, like teenagers and 2 young ones. When I did see her with her kids, they didn't really smell as bad as I saw them every day, if that made any sense. So the kids did smell clean. I'm not saying they stunk or any of that, because I've only saw them twice. Elizabeth wasn't really allowed to talk to anybody in the store.
I mean, but look at her. She looks greasy and she looks, I mean, she literally looks like a vampire. She's got the pink eyelids. She's been just in the house, I guess. They know she's pregnant. Yeah. She's trying to get out and her bond lowered so that she could get out and have her baby and then take care of her other kids. I don't think that's going to happen. News Nation coverage says she birthed all the kids. Yeah, I did see that. We saw that earlier, but when you say News Nation said she birthed all the kids, I want to see where the DNA. I mean, I think that was based on the I don't want to confuse anyone. I think that's based on the birth certificate and not the DNA right now. So I don't want to get that confused. 18 children, 2 twins conjoined. They're all supposed to be hers by birth certificate. But what we don't know is who impregnated her is what I'm saying. Did grandpa, or was it really her? It wasn't the daughter giving. So we're going to find that out. Locked in the bedroom, getting pregnant nonstop. Yeah. All right, let's continue. Sorry to interrupt you guys.
When Gary would walk her around, he would give her 3 or 4 kisses, and the only person she'll talk to would be me. He'll give her 3 or 4 kisses and walk out the store, and she'll come to the register. And he did the same thing, except he walked outside and the kids will stay in the store. And like I said, she'll ask him, what would you like? And they'll get it. And they proceed to check out.
Hey, Justice.
So Elizabeth wasn't allowed to talk?
To me, it seemed that way. Like I never saw her spoke to anybody, but besides the person behind the register, which is either me or one of my coworkers.
And what do you mean he gave her 3 or 4 kisses? Is that what you said?
Yes. So every time before she came to the register, when they were done shopping, he would give her like 3 or 4 kisses on the lips, and then he'll walk out and she'll come to the register. I thought it was weird, but then I was just like, whatever, that's just them.
Well, I'm just saying, this seems like a case of incest. And so I was like, hey, did grandpa, he was normal at some point, Avis. All right. What's up, Justice Jane? Good to see you, my friend. Grandpa was normal. And I really, not just to, of course I want everyone looking at my video and sharing it, but I do think that I answered a lot of questions tonight. And I showed you guys a lot of things that are documented about the birth and the family and the what's going on, the dynamic and the pregnancy so yes, grandpa was normal at some point, and a picture shows it right in front of the house with grandma and grandpa looking normal. He didn't look like this. I mean, this is scary as AF. I can't even imagine having to look at that guy. All right. Yeah, she is pregnant now, Anaya. She's absolutely pregnant now. And I do see the possession. When people do that, they'll hold your hand or touch you or kiss you. It's for control. So pics and forms come in immediately. Showers don't always happen right away, but I'm sure it did. In Texas, they shave your damn head for lice control, and rightfully so. They still need to do DNA testing. Actually, 18 kids, 16 were rescued. 2 were sent to ICU. So yes, there's a lot, guys. If you missed the last 2.5 hours, Yeah, you're probably going to have to go back and watch it because I put a lot in this episode. All right. I put a lot in this episode, a lot of different things.
But, you know, like, whatever. Gary Jr., I didn't hear him really talk. He really didn't even talk to me most. It was mainly me and Elizabeth's interaction, mainly because she was the one that was paying for the items.
And when you saw Elizabeth, when she looked at you, describe to me what you saw in those eyes. What did you see?
There was nothing there. There was nothing. You could tell it was a body. That was it. Like you could tell like she wanted the help, but I don't think she knew how to ask for the help, nor did I ask the right questions for her. I did ask her, how are you doing? She'll, good, I got to pay for this. But she spoke very, very, very soft all the time.
Now, mind you guys, there's these people that do hoarders, right? The hoarder show, right? People that do hoarding have mental health problems and they can't let go of stuff. You'll see them on the show with dirt and filth and piss and whatever. And it's usually just them or one other person, not 16 people, but they really have psychological problems on being able to let go of their stuff and be normalized. Let's try to hire brother for an interview. I'll donate. Is he saying we got to pay him? Let me know, Deb Davis. Let me know. I'll get him on here. All right. But those people have mental problems that do that. They sit there in the house and try to take the stuff that's disgusting. They go in the fridge and there's stuff that was in there for 10 years and rotten, and they don't want to get rid of it because of this or that. Okay. So take that and then translate that mental health to that times all the children, all the births, all the things, all the abuse, and all the years behind it. It's going to take a lot to reprogram her, I think. They just need to pay their obligations. Ohio shouldn't be begging. All right, let's continue.
Never hard, never very emotional. It was very, very soft.
And I'm sure you're seeing the reports too that some of these kids couldn't talk. They couldn't communicate. That's what we're being told by the first responders that rescued them. What did you witness?
Well, with the kids, like I said, I didn't hear them speak either. I did not. When she asked them a question, they would nod and point and then just come and grab their stuff.
It's so interesting. I mean, as far as the children, did you witness any malnourishment? Was there anything that you were seeing that was raising red flags with I guess you only saw 4 or 5 of the 16 kids?
The only red flag now that I seen, I was like, okay, Ariel, you probably should have said something, was how thin and how very pale they were. Other than them being shy and not wanting to talk to anybody and blocking out the world with their hair. Other than that, no, they were very thin, just like their mom.
So she walked around like the chick from The Ring then. She walked around with that black, greasy hair just in her face. All right. And guys, at some point, she probably did want to get help. But again, there's a lot of psychology that goes behind this stuff. The truth will come out over time. More therapy. I hope that they give her therapy though, and don't just throw her in. Thank you, Chronic Rachel. I actually got kind of sick looking at that stuff. It actually made me sick.
Very pale, just like their mom. She didn't look like she carried 16 kids.
When you say hair, do you mean like they were literally covering up their face?
Yeah. Cover their face with their hair. Like with the teenagers, you could tell like they had hair and they would have it covered. I never saw them never saw the kids' eyes, but I physically seen the kids there.
What was Gary Sr. and Christina? You said that they would come in and they looked different than this.
Christina and Gary Sr., they looked very clean. Like I said, I didn't think they knew each other. I didn't put those two puzzles together every day that I seen. I honestly thought Elizabeth and Gary Jr. lived alone. I thought, I thought the kids were visiting. I honestly thought Children's Services took the baby after she was pregnant because I saw her through her whole pregnancy, but never saw the baby.
Did it feel like anybody was in control of that situation? Did it feel like Gary Jr. or Elizabeth? Yeah.
I felt like my personal opinion, I feel like Gary Jr. was in control of the whole situation. Honestly, I don't.
And we're going to find out, I hope, that we don't just, lock the key and throw them away so that we don't hear about what really happened. because that could be done easily. All right. I know she didn't find it odd, like the Manson family coming in looking like Manson family's probably the most correct. Between Manson family and freaking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they're interviewing her because nobody else is talking about seeing them, looking at the eye. She's talking about how they smelled, what she saw, what they gave her. That's why. All right. It doesn't have a lot of merit. It really doesn't. It doesn't have a lot of merit. It's just because Synth asked me. I did not have it on today. I wasn't going to do it. I was going to show a couple minutes, but y'all don't want me to go yet. And we're still giving away a book. So I decided to play it. Not because I thought it has a ton of merit and things for you guys to learn, because I thought that it's very equivalent to all the other people that gave the same damn statements that she did. Neighbor said the same thing all the same things. That's why. Yeah, she looked like the Ring. And we know what happened to the Ring chick, right? All right. The Hills Have Eyes. Yep. All that.
I want to say she's a victim, but there
was something going on.
In all reality, this was the first red flag. I should have questioned it. The way he would walk around the store with her, he would hold her by her elbow and just guide her around the store. And it was
weird.
Like I said, I didn't know if, she needed help or not, but it was just weird, if that makes sense.
When you interacted with them, did you feel fear from them? Did you feel sadness from them?
Not fear. I didn't feel like she was in fear. You could tell that they both really loved each other.
Yeah, there's nothing about them being in foster homes, being split into anything. It's just, hey, the kids are safe. They're in homes and we need to raise money to get the things that they need. They're trying to raise, I think they already proposed giving $1 million towards the funds to help the children. All right. Juanita, yes, you do. Keep on coming here. Hit that like button. All that stuff. Drop a comment. We're going to do this at the end of the show. Yes. Thank you. I love that. Someone said more like the people. You're right, Sultry James. Why didn't I think of that? Definitely like the people under the stairs, looking like creatures with no sunlight. Right. Jay, is your book? Yes, it is, Teresa. You should definitely grab one. You will not be disappointed. You might spit out your drink, so don't take a drink too much. But yeah, would you drop the one of you guys drop the link in Amazon for Teresa? Thank you. Okay, let's continue. A false prophet, huh?
I mean, you could see that, but it wasn't like fear. It was more like, if I spoke up and said something or say anything, I'm probably going to get in trouble, and I don't want to be in trouble.
Did other people in the community, did they comment? Like if they saw them in the store with them, did you ever hear about the community reaching out to them on any level?
No, they really kept to themselves. So I really did not know much, but besides what I've seen and when I interacted with them at the store, I don't know if anybody else have tried to help.
Now, listen, there's not enough sympathy or empathy in this world, let alone in this case at all. You're right, Avis. And the only reason I'm covering it this way today is to give her the benefit of the doubt before charges are finaled or a child passes away, just to kind of look at what signs are you guys going to look for in the future. But that's about it. You're right. The prosecutor doesn't give two shits about that lady, Avis. He is hard. He's got a hard stance. And he said maybe she was a victim at some point, but she no longer is. And it's not flying with them either, Avis. I'm showing that just to give the benefit of the doubt. And again, so we can learn something and spot it. But I don't think there's going to be any kind of empathy or sympathy for this mom, right? X-Files. All right, let's keep going. Again, this is just somebody that saw them often at the Dollar Tree across the street. Otherwise, neighbors didn't see anybody but the adults. They didn't see the children. So I guess that's why they did an interview with her.
Now, I don't know if the neighbors tried to help them out. I do know the neighbors said they didn't see anything.
They did say that.
Which to me is like a red flag because, well, if I saw him at the store, I know you guys had to have seen him at least get in the car or at least walk outside. Something.
When was the last time you saw them?
The last time I saw Gary Jr. and Elizabeth was the night before they got arrested. So they got arrested last Tuesday, so last Monday. And it was at Same timing, 9:45, right before closing, water and oil, couple other little items, and went about the business like every day, like normal.
The oil, Ariel, what are they doing with all that oil?
I asked myself that question after the first week I worked there. I was like, you guys must be eating a lot of fried food, eating potatoes. I don't know. Like, I don't know. They're not.
Does anyone know what that was for? I know someone brought that up about them buying a bunch of oil, and they were saying that they were feeding the kids that, but I wonder, and then someone else made sense about what it was for. Lots of calories in that oil. What was that for? What are they using that oil for? I didn't see a kitchen. I don't even know how they were cooking or what they were eating or how they were. I guess we'll have to wait.
Buying food to fry, but you have this oil. So I just assumed either that or sometimes they did have like noodles. So like, of course, I'd be like, okay, the oil for the noodles, whatever. But
I know I've been reading about it and I'm trying to understand it too. Honestly, from a nutrition perspective, vegetable oil is something that has been used in countries to feed people who are starving. And Ariel, you're a mom.
Yes.
When you hear that there are 16 children, 7 of them have been rushed to the hospital, 2 of them are in trauma centers, 1 of them is still in critical condition, I just learned from a report from the sheriff. How does that hit you?
It's really hard because I guess I could have, asked the right questions. I could have done something. I can't imagine putting my kids. I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine anybody putting their kids in, just as a mom. My question to her is how can you let this go on for so long? How can you let this be okay? How did you not look up and be like, I want better for my children. My children deserve better. They need better. And as a mom, I don't understand. I don't.
And when we talked about doing this interview, Ariel, you told me this is for the kids. Like, we have got to get information out about these children.
No,
why did you want to speak up right now about what you saw?
Well, the reason why I wanted to speak up was because when the story first broke out, everybody kept saying they didn't see anything. They didn't see any kids. They didn't see any kids. I'm sorry, but I did. I saw the kids and I didn't know they were living there. And to the children, I am very sorry that I didn't ask the question. I'm very sorry that I kept my mouth shut. I should have investigated more, but I did not know you were there. And I apologize. I really do apologize. And I'm sorry. And I know you're going to get all the help. I know God is on your side. God will.
Now, listen, guys, a lot of people that are going to be at the grand jury and trial, there's going to be a ton of witnesses. This chick is definitely going to be a witness. All right. She's one of the only people that's come out and said she's seen them several times coming back. Now, a lot of this is just her speculating, and it's completely all just her thoughts and feelings about what she saw them do. That's it. That's all. There is not a lot of merit to this. There's nothing that you can learn. What you can learn is if you see that type of shit again, lady, call it in. Even if you think, call it in. They're right across the street from you. You never see them buying food. They're not using the stuff that you're donating. They're buying a bunch of oil, but not anything to fry it. They smell like shit, and you're spraying when they leave. See something, say something, and do something. Don't just talk shit and spray. All right. But yeah, there's not a lot of merit to it, but I'm hanging out with y'all. We're listening to what she says, and it's criminally obsessed.
Help you. I'm sorry. I seen you, but I didn't know you were there. I'm sorry.
I know. And you know what? Everybody here wants you to know that there's no way for you to have known what was going on. It is almost unimaginable, Ariel. And
it is.
This is not your fault. You did nothing wrong. You were trying to help. And right now you're still trying to help. So I want you to know that we see you and we understand what you're going through.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm sorry again to the children. And I know they might watch this one day, but I seen you and I'm sorry. I really am.
As far as the community, have you been able to talk to your colleagues or other people just to share your stories about what you had experienced with them? Is there anything that shared experience, anything you can tell me about?
I have talking to some of the neighbors in the community. I told them exactly what I told you, what I've known about. The majority of them said that they didn't know this was going on. They didn't know there was kids there, which, I mean, I guess, but it's more like a shock. It's shock in here in Hamden. It's more like, what? Are we hearing this right? Is this really going on? So we're all still like,
can't believe
but
it.
this is a beautiful community. If you need help, the neighbors will help you. Just if you ask, it might not be exactly what you need at that moment, but it would be something that somebody will help you. And we all do stick together. We do. I just don't like I said in the beginning, I don't see how anybody else didn't see him. I cannot be the only one that saw her with kids. But again, I thought they were visiting.
It sounds like there was an enormous amount of scary control going on as well. So the fear must have been palpable. We are just now starting that journey of seeing how we all can be better at watching for red flags, helping these kids on their journey.
I agree. And I think that's the only thing that we can gather from this is somebody that saw something and didn't really do anything. They thought about it, but didn't do anything. In the future, I'm sure she feels bad that she didn't now. She should have said so. And she's talking about God. I know. Nobody did anything. Something positive with those feelings of anguish and guilt. Yeah, thank you. Somebody sent me, Miranda sent me Joey Russell when he went live on TikTok and he answered questions about the Siders. That's like a 2-hour episode though. So I can preview it, but we'll definitely have to do that on another day. Thank you for sending that. I wish I'd have had it earlier. I know, right? She didn't know. She looks high here. She was probably high the whole time.
Now I'm not going to keep my mouth shut. This opened my eyes and I'm going to say something, even though it might insult him. It might not. It might save somebody's life. And like I said, I'm sorry to the kids. I seen you. I'm sorry. I really am.
Aw.
I really am.
It's okay.
That's so hard. I know. I'm sorry too.
You're going to be testifying.
Drop a comment below. I want to hear what you think about Eric.
All right. She's going to be testifying. So that's that. I am going to start. I'm going to actually finish this off with the 12 by 12 room, where this is and what's next. Right. And we're not doing the whole thing, but I want you to see the what the defense attorney says versus what everyone else is saying and what the charges are going to be, etc. All right. So what's next? What happened and what the hell is next? And guys, Joey Russell, I believe that's the brother of Elizabeth Siders. He went live on TikTok 4 days ago to talk about the dynamics of the family and his sister, etc. So I don't know if you guys are interested. I mean, you guys are talking about wanting to pay him to give an interview. He gave one for free. It's a long one, so we're not going to do that tonight. I wish I had seen it. But yeah, a family cult. The previous owner, nobody owned that. They didn't own that house. The person that's been an owner has been an owner for quite some time and has nothing to do with any of this. All right, let me do this, and then I'm going to start loading up my screen so that we can give out a Guilty of Crime book. All right, and maybe one more membership. That way you guys can get a membership. If you get one, then you could win a book. All right, for today. Yeah, it was not, it's the same people. He doesn't want money to talk. That's what people are saying. Okay, it's owned by a trust fund. That makes sense. All right, let's find out what's next. No more speculating of a prosecutor is talking because the first responders and maybe some of the people that are in the process of collecting evidence, etc., are the ones that gave those statements about third world country, feral children, not being able to talk or write their own name. I mean, where'd that come from? These rumors and this media coverage, it came from the people that were there, that were cleaning up the crime scene, right? So I want to hear what the prosecutor has to say. I don't really think it matters, to be honest, who owned that house at this point. That person, it was just a trust. It had nothing to do. They were just renters. Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with any of that at all. All right. It came from, yep, it did. So what's the prosecutor saying? Do they even have a TV or know what that is? All right. Jay, are you going to play your brother's interview? I think Elizabeth was special needs. So was Junior. Interesting. It's a 3-hour one, so I can't get into that tonight, my friend. We're already at 3 hours and 4 minutes. I am not that streamer. I will do it though. I will cover it if you guys want me to, but I am not that streamer that will be here for like 8 hours. Love you guys, but I like my Fridays. I know that there was some good stuff from My Sofa and a few others. Definitely. There's some good people. I'm just saying, be careful of the ones that aren't. I'm not going to even tell you the ones that are. That's on you.
Is being described.
So there's no way that they can't have a defense like that, my friends. Okay. So this is not Jay from Guilty of Crime being mean. All right. He said it. And that was my point of this entire episode, is to show both sides and to show that she does not consider herself a victim. Now, whether she is a victim, now turned abuser or not, if she's not going to consider herself a victim, then that is not going to be a defense. Okay? So I don't care what anyone says. You're being mean, Jay. No, if she doesn't consider herself a victim, then she needs to be accountable, and I think that they owe it to her. When I say they, whoever let her down, the whole system owes it to her to give her therapy, give her counseling, do parenting classes, and really be out there, be out of that dynamic, the family dynamic, to see what it's supposed to really be like. All right? I worked in burns, hospital for kids. Even if they burn, child still wanted mommy. Exactly. I don't know. But he's trying. You know what I do know? TR Mac is that they want to paint this in a different light. The prosecutor and the first responders and the media have painted her and the family as being evil. And, frankly, we don't believe that they're all her children just from her. I think we're feeling like there's incest and there's not enough time for her to have done that. So he's trying to paint a better version. He's kind of like being her PR rep right now.
Siders.
I agree with you, Dark Scale. However, it just simply can't be a defense if she doesn't feel like she's a victim. Unless he can talk her into it and show her, hey, look at this evidence that came in. Like, I didn't know that X, Y, and Z. We don't know what they're calling evil, Dark Scale. We don't know if they had a dedicated room to, a dedicated room that has lube and dildos in it, right? And she goes in that dedicated room, and Gary might have some weird fetish for that. And we don't know what they're saying that's evil. We don't know if they found, CP or CSAM. We don't know what they're referring to. So we're not sure what that even means. Yeah, we're all victims. Even Jesus said, Father, why have you forsaken me, when he was on the cross? All right, let's keep going. We've been here for a long time, and I appreciate y'all. We're about to give a book away. We got about another 5 to 7 minutes. This is simply what the prosecutor is showing us and what they're looking at from, this perspective without all the details. And that's why I wanted to show this, because, is that even really freaking possible? Is that possible that they were locked in there for 4 years, 12 by 12? Is that really possible? It is a complex case. And not only that, not only is it complex, but we don't know. He says it's pure evil. They cannot hide behind mental. Thank you for saying that. I'm just trying to be in the gray today and give you guys perspectives, but the way I feel about how these children were treated without knowing all the details is not good. And I'm not happy. But yeah, look at this. Is that real? Do you think that could really, how could you, why I think something nefarious was going on besides that? Every time you hear about, 17 kids and counting, the Duggars, all those things, there's something nefarious going on with that many people and that many kids in one house, and these parents having sex, and then another one gets, how could they not have been doing something? And then someone just said they were also physically abused. Yes, she's pregnant again. And that's why she wants out, because she's pregnant again. She wants her bond lowered and all that. All right, we'll wrap this up, and then we're going to give out a book, guys. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and make sure you have a membership.
Space and just
more squads there, first responder.
I mean, in all honesty, TR Mac, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think she could be let out. What would she do? Well, this woman, if you want to take her being a victim to an abuser, what is she going to do to help herself to understand that this is not okay and that she was once a victim? If they let her out, I don't think she's going to flee, but what is she going to do to help herself? She didn't do anything to help herself when she was out. I mean, when they arrested her, she looked like this. She went from that to that. So do you think it's a good idea to just let her out? And do what? That's what I'm wondering. I'm not trying to like go back and forth with you. I'm just wondering, just in all honesty, let her out to do what? What the hell is she going to do when she's out? I just don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. I think they should keep her where she is and get her a little bit more mentally stable for the next upcoming court date. When we first covered this, was it this week or last week? We were like, hey, are they going to find remains on the property from babies that she had? And you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to go through. 3 search warrants. Why 3 search warrants? What did they collect? And we don't know anything. She doesn't know exactly. She doesn't know how to help herself. She needs help. She needs help. If they're going to let her out, they better think about where they're going to put her to get her the help. Otherwise, keep her in there, get her back to where she looks normal, because she doesn't even look normal to be attending these court hearings. And then if they're going to do that, then they let her out. But where is she going to go? Who's going to help her? That's their job to figure that out if they let her out, in my opinion. It's going to be a while. So we're going to drop that down, guys. We've been here for 3 hours and 20 minutes. That's one of the longer ones. All right. They said they were receiving welfare. How can you receive welfare for a child that's not attending school? Well, I don't know who said they were receiving welfare. I know her brother said that, but that's why they didn't show all of the children. You don't have to have your kid in school if your child's only 18 months. Remember that. She had a bunch of kids that were like 18 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Those kids didn't need to go to school, so they could have just registered them and if they got welfare. That's the only thing I can say. All right, guys, let's cleanse that palate. Hit that like button if you come in. If you're on the rewatch crew, please hit the like button. And if you would hype the channel, if you get a chance, if you like the way I present true crime, that would be awesome. And on that note, don't forget to go sub up to Mab Investigates. He's doing good things over on his channel, and he needs to get 5,000. Not he needs to, he wants to. All right. There you go. That's it. That's the new law now. You can't even register for school unless you're 5 and you meet that clearance at the time. She would probably claim incompetent. That's the thing, is she's not claiming that, though. So it's going to be really hard for her to go back on that when she's not saying that she's a victim at all. What I wonder is how they were giving birth sometime to get pregnant with. So I know, me too. All right, let's give away a book here. Let me share this. All right, one more time, looking at Grandpa. There's all 4 of them right now. They are all being charged with the exact same thing. Again, we don't even know how the kids are doing. We have no idea what condition the kids are that were taken into the ICU, or any of the other ones that think they weren't abused. We don't know how they're feeling now. All right. So let's get going. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and then that's it. If you win, then I will, you guys send me an email, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. Thank you for all the overtime, letting us know the facts. You're very welcome. Well, Synth, you've been commenting a lot since you got here. She's not gonna win, but my content's horrible, doggy. Detective Doggy. All right, let's do it again. Synth can't win because she could get a book whenever she wants. All right, we love you, Synth, but you can't win. If you want a book, just get one. All right, let's try again. 8 out of 10, baby. We got that. We got that. We're good. Thank you, Beachfront Park. I appreciate that. I try to bring the facts. Okay, Midnight Lace. Didn't you just win? Didn't I send you a book recently? I know Midnight Lace is like way part of the Guilty of Crime family and everything else, but I can't remember if you... Oh, you didn't win. Okay, there you go. Midnight Lace just took it for a win. There you go. If you did not get a book, then womp, womp, womp. I don't want that naughty book, she said. Yeah, you guys all need that naughty book. I'm just saying. All right, Midnight Lace, you got it then, my friend. It's called Reason 111 on Amazon. All right, Reason 111 why I'm gay. And if I just outed myself to you guys, I don't think so. All right, guys, I wrote this book, published by me, illustrated, all that stuff. So go get it. You could pick it up on Amazon. Just type in Reason 111. It will come right up. And there you go. All right. I'm going to send that to you, Midnight Lace. Shoot me an email. Congratulations. I'm supposed to get a Foxy. Oh, you're still wait. Oh, you donated your Foxy box? Good on you. Well, I got you. Send me an email and I will get you a book. All right. I love you guys. Thank you guys for all of the support. All right. I'm buying it today. So I'm buy. Hey, be what you want. You don't have to be gay to know why I'm gay. I mean, if you see my wife, she just walked by, then you'll know. All right. Go pick that up. Support the channel. I'll see you guys next week. No, I don't need your validation to make me feel like I'm someone I'm not supposed to be. Wow. No one's validating you. Who said we're validating you, Patrick? No one's validating you. I don't even know who you are. Half of the time, your comments, I thought you were a troll. So happy Friday, Patrick. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and you do not have to be gay to buy that book at all whatsoever. I'm not that dumb. I don't know about that, any of that. But yeah, it's literally just a book written by me, pretty novel. You'll learn about stuff. And guys, a lot of times people ask me those questions. That the book that I wrote is literally because I shit you not. Well, first of all, I'm married to a woman for the last 21 years. Okay. Second, I have 2 children and everyone wants to know why, how, what. This will explain it all. People will say, hey, Jay, I don't want to offend you, but I was wondering, how did you guys have those children and what? Wait, how did 2 women do that? I mean, there's a lot of questions, guys. So it doesn't make you gay because you want to read it. It makes you curious because you want to read it about others that are having children together, or whatever. All right. No, it doesn't make you gay. I wish it did. I'd be handing them out. All right. All right. Good night, guys. Love you. They're collecting benefits, but we don't know just yet because the city or the county is supposed to be approving $1 million fund towards the children and their recovery. So I will look that up for next week. Other people are looking for it as well to find out where to donate. I will see you guys next Monday. Your 24-year anniversary. Well, happy anniversary, Midnight Lace. Go celebrate. I love you guys. All right. Much love. You love you. I'm sad I'm lost. You're not lost. I will see you guys Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. I can't use a turkey bacon for a man spunk. True story. It is. But nowadays, you just go to Kaiser and they do it for you. Have a great weekend. Love you. Mab, are you streaming this weekend? No, it won't. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you next week. Good night. Mwah. Appreciate you. Trolls, thank you too.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?